Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. I am Son Goku, suppressing the world of Dragon Ball. Chapter 1. In a small wooden house in Baozi Mountain, Lin Tianao slowly opened his eyes, shook his groggy head, and murmured to himself, "I will never drink again." Then he looked at the unfamiliar environment around him and said, "Am I still in a dream?" "Papa." Lin Tianao slapped himself twice. Feeling the heat on his face, he immediately realized that this was not a dream. At this moment, an old man with a white beard came in from outside the door. When he saw Lin Tianao, he said happily, "Goku, you finally woke up. Does your head still hurt? It's all because of Grandpa's fault. He didn't watch you and let you fall from the cliff. I fell down and got hurt. Fortunately, you didn't die." "Old man, you call me Goku?" Lin Tianao asked. "Oh, it seems that your brain has been damaged and you can't even remember your own name," Son Gohan said. Lin Tianao felt that the old man looked familiar. He looked around carefully and suddenly felt that it was similar to the style of the Dragon Ball world. Then he looked at himself and was surprised to find that he had turned into a child. Son Gohan looked at Son Goku's strange behavior and thought that Son Goku had broken his brain and lost his memory, so he said, "I am your grandfather Son Gohan, your name is Son Goku, do you remember?" Lin Tianao thought to himself, "Sure enough, I traveled to the Dragon Ball world and wore it on little Goku's body," so he said, "Grandpa, I remembered, my head still hurts a little now, please leave me alone." Son Gohan said, "Okay, you have a good rest at home. Grandpa will go hunt some prey and come back and prepare delicious food for you." Son Goku said, "Thank you, Grandpa." Son Gohan nodded, then closed the door and went out. Lin Tianao recalled what happened before. "Yesterday, my classmate got married and went out for a banquet. During the period, he drank a few more drinks, and ended up being transported to the Dragon Ball world in a daze. It must be the turn of his relatives and friends to eat at their banquet. There are really many wonders in this world, and there are countless ways for people to travel. There must be no more outrageous way to travel than this. No matter what, once it comes, let's make peace with it." Lin Tianao thought to himself, "Little Goku, let me start your wonderful life. You can go with peace of mind. From now on, I am Son Goku." After that, Lin Tianao felt that the spiritual platform suddenly became more awake. It must be a trace of little Goku's residual thoughts that completely merged with his soul. Son Goku got out of bed, moved his little body, and then began to think about all the world plots of Dragon Ball that he had seen in his previous life. This is a passionate and inspiring world, also full of crises. The 7 Dragon Balls that can grant wishes, flesh and blood villains, and a race with unlimited potential. All these made Son Goku excited, so he decided to start practicing from tomorrow. Son Gohan came back from hunting half a day later, and then started cooking for Son Goku. After a long time, the grandfather and grandson started to eat. The next morning, Son Goku got up early and started practicing. First run 2 kilometers in the morning, and then do 200 push-ups in the morning, noon and evening. Son Gohan thought that Son Goku was only 3 years old and was too young. What if his body was damaged by such exercise, so he wanted to dissuade Son Goku, but was deceived by Son Goku in a few words. Thus, Son Goku's path of spiritual practice began. 3 years later, Son Gohan began to teach Son Goku the perception of Chi. Son Goku learned it in only 3 days, and then began to learn the application of Chi. In the following days, apart from going into the mountains to hunt and fight wild beasts, Son Goku practiced the application of Chi. 6 years later, Son Goku and Son Gohan had fought back and forth. Son Gohan felt that he had nothing to teach Son Goku, so he wrote a letter and asked Son Goku to take the letter to Master Roshi. Let Master Roshi teach Son Goku how to practice. It is worth mentioning that although Son Goku has transformed into a giant ape in the past few years, he can still maintain his sanity, so Son Gohan was not trampled to death by Son Goku like in the original work. After Son Goku said goodbye to Son Gohan, he set out to find Master Roshi. On the way, he met Bulma, who was looking for the Dragon Ball. After seeing Son Goku's skill, Bulma invited Son Goku to look for the Dragon Ball together. Son Goku naturally agreed. With such a rich woman and the leading scientist on the future Earth, Son Goku wanted to say, let Vegeta transform into Super Saiyan Green. The difficulties the two encountered while searching for the Dragon Ball were nothing to Son Goku now. The Dragon Ball from Master Roshi was replaced by Son Goku with a magazine. After collecting the 7 Dragon Balls, Son Goku convinced Bulma to make his wish. Then Son Goku made a wish to Shenron and received a weight-bearing garment that could freely adjust its size and gravity. The weight-bearing garment could be up to 300 times its own weight, which was enough for Son Goku to use before he transformed into Super Saiyan. The reason why he made a wish for a weight-bearing suit was because Bulma couldn't build a gravity chamber at his current level. Dr. Breves could make one, but it could only achieve 50 times gravity, so Son Goku made such a wish. After that, Son Goku separated from Bulma and went to find Master Roshi to practice. Master Roshi considered Son Goku and was surprised to find that he had nothing to teach him, so he asked Son Goku to climb the Kalen Tower. So Son Goku used the capsule given by Bulma to fill a large tank of water, caught hundreds of fish, and then went to climb Kalen Tower. A few days later, Son Goku climbed up the Kalen Tower, met the Meow Immortal, explained his purpose of coming, and took out the water tank and fish. The Meow Immortal's eyes widened when he saw this, so he happily agreed to Son Goku's request. After that, Mu Sennin began to teach Son Goku. 3 months later, Son Goku learned everything taught by Mu Sennin, and his combat effectiveness improved a lot. Then he exchanged 2 cans of fairy beans with Immortal Meow, and left Kalen Tower, preparing to participate in the world's best martial arts tournament in a few months. After visiting Master Roshi and Krillin, Son Goku returned to Bowsy Mountain. Son Gohan was very happy to see Son Goku return, and the grandfather and grandson chatted for a long time. After that, Son Goku stayed in Bowsy Mountain, practicing while waiting to participate in the world's best martial arts competition. During this period, Son Goku has begun to adapt to 5 times gravity, and his combat power has reached 1,000 points. At this time, he is completely invincible. However, Son Goku does not know it. The only thing that can be determined is his combat power. Higher than Goku during the Raditz period. 2 months later, Son Goku rushed to the city to participate in the world's best martial arts conference. A few days later, Son Goku arrived at the conference venue. Met Krillin, Master Roshi, Yamcha and Bulma here. Everyone was very happy to see each other. After Son Goku finished reporting his name, Bulma invited everyone to dinner. Son Goku's appetite really shocked everyone. When Bulma checked out, he saw that the bill was as high as 500,000 Sony coins. Although this was a drop in the bucket, Bulma was shocked. A few days later, Son Goku, Yamcha, Krillin and Master Roshi pretended to be Changlong and successfully entered the quarterfinals. After that, just like the original work, the 4 successfully defeated their opponents and entered the semifinals. In the semifinals, Son Goku defeated Krillin and Changlong defeated Yamcha. The 2 successfully met in the finals. In the final, Son Goku easily defeated Changlong and won the championship of the 21st World No. 1 Martial Arts Tournament. After Son Goku treated everyone to a feast, he spent all the championship bonus he just received in the blink of an eye. Son Goku contrasted and said, "I am not interested in money." Afterwards, Master Roshi and Krillin went back to Immortal Island, Bulma went home, and Son Goku went back to Bowsy Mountain to continue practicing. After practicing in Bowsy Mountain for several months, Son Goku embarked on a journey to find the Dragon Ball. A month later, after Son Goku found all 7 Dragon Balls, he made a wish to Shenron so that he could survive in space. Naturally, this wish was not difficult for Shenron. After his wish came true, Son Goku felt the changes in his body, and then went to Kalen Tower to visit Mu Immortal. Immortal Meow was very happy when he saw Son Goku coming. After Son Goku gave a large tank of live fish to Immortal Meow, he planned to drink the super magical water to stimulate his potential. Although the super divine water is poisonous and may induce heart disease, Son Goku still plans to give it a try. At worst, he will make a wish to Shenron to remove the toxins from his body. After hearing this, Meow Shenron persuaded Son Goku and agreed. After drinking a glass of super magical water, Son Goku suddenly felt unbearable pain all over his body, and the aura on his body burst out unconsciously. Suddenly, there was a violent storm, lightning and thunder below the Kalen Tower. The Meow Immortal was also shocked by the aura on Son Goku's body. Also shocked were the gods from the Celestial Temple. After a while, Son Goku calmed down his breath, and felt the vigorous power in his body. He was very happy. It was roughly estimated that it was nearly 1/3 higher than before. After Son Goku thanked Mew Immortal, he was about to leave, but was told by Meow Immortal that the god was looking for him. So Son Goku flew towards the Celestial Temple. After a while, Son Goku arrived at the Temple of Heaven, and what he saw was a man who looked like Brother Asan and a green-skinned monster. Of course Son Goku knew that these two people meant Bobo and God, but he still pretended not to know each other and asked them, "Hello, who of you is God?" The green-skinned monster said, "I am the god, and next to me is my servant Bobo." Son Goku heard this and said, "Hello gods, hello Bobo, what do you want from me?" The god said, "I just felt the aura emanating from you in the Temple of Heaven, and found that your strength has surpassed everyone else, so I want to invite you to inherit my position as God, maintain world peace, and protect the earth." Son Goku said, "I'm sorry, Lord Tenjin. I like freedom. I don't want to be restrained. Please forgive me." God said, "Goku, don't you think about it again. I have a premonition that demons that will harm the world will appear in the world soon, and the martial arts masters on the earth will be helpless. Only you can save the earth and maintain world peace." Son Goku said, "Lord God, don't worry, I will take action when the time comes, but for the position of God, you'd better hire someone else." After hearing this, the god no longer forced Son Goku to take the position of God. He said to Son Goku, "Okay, young man, the task of protecting the earth and maintaining world peace is left to you. If you have any requests, you can ask me." Son Goku heard this and said, "I don't know if there is any place for practice in the Temple of Heaven. I want to continue practicing." Hearing this, the God of Heaven said, "There is a place in the Temple of Heaven, called the Spiritual Time Room, but the gravity there is 10 times that of the outside. If you stay there for a year, only 1 day will pass outside, but the environment inside is very harsh. Know if you can adapt." Son Goku said, "That's just right. 10 times gravity is no problem." After hearing the words, the god agreed to Son Goku and asked Bobo to lead Son Goku into the Spiritual Time Room, and told Son Goku that he could only stay there for 2 years, otherwise he would never come out. Son Goku nodded in agreement, adjusted the gravity of his weight-bearing suit to 0, and then entered the Spiritual Time Room. As soon as he entered, Son Goku's body sank and he almost fell. After regaining his balance, he began to practice. In addition to the most basic training, Son Goku began to make use of Saiyan's characteristics, injuring himself every few days, and then taking senbei to recover, and his combat effectiveness increased sharply. After staying inside like this for 2 years, Son Goku left the Spiritual Time Room and began to adjust the gravity multiplier on the weight-bearing clothing. Starting from 1 time, it was not until after 20 times gravity that Son Goku felt that he was about the same and stopped adjusting. Although he did not know how much combat power he had, according to the original work, after Son Goku adapted to 100 times gravity, he had a combat power of 90,000. I am now adapted to 20 times gravity, and I estimate that I have a combat power of 18,000 points. Thinking of this, Son Goku was very happy. He said hello to Tianshan and Bobo, and then left Tianshan Temple. When he passed Kalen Tower, he visited Meow Immortal again, and then went directly back to Baozi Mountain. 3 years later, the 22nd World Number 1 Martial Arts Conference was held as scheduled. After Son Goku said goodbye to Son Gohan, he rushed to attend the Martial Arts Conference, where he not only saw Master Roshi, Krillin, Yamcha, and Bulma, but also Tien Shinhan, Dumplings, and Kakusenin of the Kakusenryu. In the end, Son Goku won the martial arts tournament without any suspense. After Son Goku got the bonus, he invited everyone to have a meal. During this period, Piccolo Daimao's men wanted to snatch the 4 planets, but Son Goku easily eliminated them, and Krillin also escaped. After eating, Son Goku took the initiative to find the original Piccolo Daimao, and then beat him to the point of death from serious injuries, causing him to successfully spit out a magic egg. Then Son Goku returned to Baozi Mountain. After that, Son Goku found the god's spaceship and asked Bulma's father to help repair it. Dr. Breves agreed without saying a word. Son Goku took advantage of this time to search for the 7 Dragon Balls, then made a wish to Shenron and learned the Namek language. After Dr. Breves repaired the spacecraft, Son Goku took the spaceship to Namek. A month later, Son Goku arrived at Namek. After some further inquiries, he found the residence of the Great Elder. After being welcomed by Nairu, he met the Great Elder, and then Son Goku informed him of his purpose. By helping Son Goku develop his potential, the Great Elder learned about the future encounters of Namek, so he asked Son Goku to support Namek in the future, and Son Goku happily agreed. Afterwards, the Great Elder ordered people to find 7 Dragon Balls to help Son Goku make a wish. Son Goku's first wish is to learn the instant transmission of the Adratites. The second wish is to remove the toxins remaining in the body from the super divine water. The third wish is to master the cultivation method of divine power. 3 wishes were quite simple for Namek Shenron, and they came true in a matter of seconds. Son Goku felt that there were many more cultivation methods in his head, and his body felt relaxed, and he knew that his wish had come true. Then he said goodbye to the Great Elder and returned to Earth on the spaceship. After Son Goku returned to Earth, he began a simple and unpretentious spiritual life. Time flies, the sun and the moon fly by, 5 years have passed in the blink of an eye, and Son Goku has grown from a small man to 1.8 meters today. The weight-bearing clothing on his body has also increased from 20 times the gravity at the beginning to 40 times the gravity now. After Son Goku said goodbye to Son Gohan, he flew to Bulma's house. Bulma immediately fell in love with Son Goku after seeing her. Son Goku took the opportunity to confess his love to Bulma, and the two instantly developed their previous friendship into love. Afterwards, the two rushed to the martial arts conference to participate in the 23rd World's Number 1 Martial Arts Conference. I met Master Roshi, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien Shinhan, Dumpling and many other friends at the scene. After not seeing each other for several years, Son Goku had changed so much that no one recognized him for a while. It was not until Bulma introduced him to everyone that everyone connected the person in front of them with the little Goku before, and then they recognized Son Goku. Bulma announced his love with Son Goku in public, and everyone expressed congratulations, so Bulma invited everyone to dinner again. After that, the world's number 1 martial arts conference was held as scheduled. Before that, Son Goku specifically told Bulma about Chi-Chi. Bulma was very angry at first, but soon forgave Son Goku under Son Goku's sweet words. Son Goku breathed a sigh of relief after handling the matter. Then in the martial arts tournament, he went through all the battles without a single enemy. After defeating Chi-Chi in the quarterfinals, he told Bulma and Chi-Chi agreed. Then he met Tien Shinhan in the semi-finals and knocked him out with just one move, leaving everyone present stunned. Piccolo's face turned gloomy when he saw it. After Piccolo defeated Krillin, he met Son Goku in the finals. In the finals, Piccolo tried his best, but was resolved one by Son Goku. Looking at the exhausted Piccolo, Son Goku said, "I gave you a chance, but you were useless. You fell down before I even made a move." Piccolo was furious when he heard this, but there was nothing he could do. After Son Goku knocked Piccolo out of the game, he let the host confirm his victory and then let Piccolo go. Piccolo heard this and said harsh words, waiting for him to succeed in cultivation, he would then settle the score with Son Goku. Hearing this, Son Goku smiled secretly and said, "You still want to settle the score with me, so you can be the nanny of the Son family with peace of mind." After winning the world's best martial arts competition, Son Goku held a grand wedding with Bulma and Chi-Chi. After the marriage, Bulma asked Son Goku to move to Bulma's house, and Son Goku happily agreed. A year later, Chi-Chi and Bulma gave birth to 2 boys almost at the same time. Son Goku looked at the boy Chi-Chi gave birth to and thought about what else to name him. "My grandfather's son Gohan is still alive, so I can't call him Son Gohan. After much deliberation, I finally decided to call him Son Wujun." As for the boy Bulma gave birth to, Son Goku decided to name him Son Wuming. After that, Son Goku became a daddy. Apart from practicing, he also entertained his 2 children. 4 years later, Son Goku took Son Wuzhen and Son Wuming to the Immortal Island to visit Master Roshi. He noticed an evil aura coming to the earth and knew that Raditz had arrived on the earth. Then he asked Master Roshi and Krillin to take care of the two children, while he used instant transmission to reach the vicinity of Raditz. As soon as he arrived, he heard Raditz say to a farmer holding a gun, "A scumbag with a combat power of only 5. After saying this, he was about to kill the farmer. Son Goku said, "Hi, Raditz, how are you?" Raditz was startled when he heard this, then looked behind him and saw Son Goku waving to him. Then he said, "Are you Kakarot?" Son Goku said, "If it's fake, it will be replaced." Raditz said, "That's right, one look at your appearance, I can tell that you are my stupid brother, Kakarot." Son Goku said, "My stupid big brother, what are you doing on Earth?" Raditz roared, "Why are you still asking me? I want to ask you, what is going on this planet, why haven't you killed all the natives here?" Son Goku said, "Why should I kill everyone here?" Raditz shouted, "It seems that Kakarot, you have forgotten your mission. Let me help you complete your mission." After saying that, he condensed an energy ball in his hand and threw it towards the city in the distance. Seeing this, Son Goku ducked in front of the energy ball, and then slapped it into the air. Seeing this, Raditz smiled and said, "Okay, my stupid brother, you can actually block my energy ball, let me see how powerful you are in combat." Then he pressed the combat detector next to his eyes and looked at Son Goku, and found that Son Goku's combat power was only 5. Then he asked, "Kakarot, what's going on? Why is your combat power only 5? Son Goku smiled and said, "Want to know?" Raditz said angrily, "Stop being so pretentious and tell me quickly." Son Goku said, "I won't tell you, what do you think, come and beat me." Hearing this, Raditz laughed and said, "It seems Kakarot, you are successful, then let me love you." Son Goku said, "Wait a minute, let's change places." Raditz said, "Okay, it's up to you. No matter where you are, you won't be able to run away after this beating." Son Goku smiled upon seeing this, then flew up and headed straight to Piccolo's residence. On the way, Raditz's combat detector detected that Piccolo's combat power was 516, and said to Son Goku, "I asked you to change places. It turned out that you found a helper, but it was of no use. Your helper's combat power was only more than 500 points, and my combat power is 1500 points, so just accept your fate, Kakarot." Son Goku said, "Let's wait until we get to the place." Raditz laughed again when he heard this. Piccolo sensed Raditz the moment he arrived. When he was about to go and see it, he found that Raditz was coming towards him, so he waited there. After a moment, Raditz and Son Goku were indeed seen. After the two landed, Piccolo asked Son Goku, "Who is he?" Son Goku said, "Just a madman who kills people without blinking an eye." Raditz heard this and said angrily, "Kakarot, you are really promising, how dare you say that to your elder brother and me?" Piccolo was shocked when he heard this. "This guy is actually your eldest brother. Are you mistaken, Son Goku?" Son Goku said, "Yes, this guy is my eldest brother, and we all belong to a race called Saiyan." "I see, then why did you bring him here?" Piccolo asked. Son Goku said, "I brought him here because I wanted him to fight you and let you see the world." Raditz heard this and said, "So that's what you planned, Kakarot, but this guy is too rubbish and not worth my while." Piccolo heard this and said, "Who are you calling trash?" Raditz laughed and said, "I mean everyone here is rubbish." Piccolo heard this and said angrily, "You fart," and then attacked Raditz. Raditz didn't care when he saw this and easily blocked Piccolo's attack. He was still mocking, "Have you not eaten? Are your weak fists tickling me?" When Piccolo heard this, he became furious and attacked even faster, but he couldn't touch Raditz at all. Raditz laughed and said, "It's really rubbish. You can't even touch the corner of my clothes. After attacking for so long, it's time for me to take action." Piccolo was shocked when he heard this, and without waiting for a reaction, he punched Piccolo in the abdomen. Piccolo was immediately beaten until he vomited acid at the mouth, arched his body, endured the pain, and distanced himself from Raditz. When Raditz saw this, he did not pursue him and said to Son Goku, "Kakarot, this is the help you asked for. What a rubbish." Son Goku said, "Don't get me wrong, I just want Piccolo to see the world. I don't need help at all to deal with you." Raditz laughed when he heard this. "Kakarot, do you want to laugh me to death? You are a piece of trash and you want to deal with me, your elder brother. Upon seeing this, Son Goku said, "In that case, use your detector to see my combat power." Raditz said with a smile, "Your fighting ability doesn't matter, at most it's a little better than that green skin trash." "Really?" Son Goku said, and then released about 1% of his breath. Raditz's detector started beeping. Raditz was immediately shocked by the number above and broke into a cold sweat. He saw 3000 clearly displayed on it. Son Goku smiled and said, "How about it, my stupid big brother, what is my fighting power?" Raditz shouted, "Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. The detector must be broken. You are just a piece of garbage with a birth combat power of only 2. No matter how hard you practice, it is impossible to reach 3000. Son Goku said, "Nothing is impossible, it's just that you are short-sighted and have no knowledge." Hearing this, Raditz said, "You say I have no experience. King Vegeta and I fought all over the place. Who hasn't seen you? You only have a combat power of 3000 points, while King Vegeta has a combat power of 18,000 points. You are the ignorant one." Son Goku laughed when he heard this and said, "King Vegeta, he is just a dog that bullies the weak and fears the strong. If he dares to come, I will beat him until he doesn't even recognize him." Raditz laughed when he heard this and said, "Kakarot, you are finished. Your words have passed through my detector and reached King Vegeta. You just wait to die." Son Goku smiled and said, "It's not certain who will die, but I know you will die soon." Raditz heard this and said in horror, "Kakarot, what do you mean, do you want to kill me? I am your eldest brother." Son Goku asked, "Do we Saiyans still have any family ties?" Upon hearing this, Raditz immediately appeared and knelt down in front of Son Goku, crying bitterly, "Kakarot, do you remember, I hugged you when you were a child, please don't kill me, your eldest brother." Son Goku saw this and said, "Okay, look at what you look like now. If my father was still alive and saw you like this, he would have to beat you up." Raditz heard this and said, "Kakarot, you won't kill me." Son Goku said, "I have no interest in attacking the weak, but you have to stay on Earth and you are not allowed to attack randomly, otherwise, you will know the consequences." Raditz nodded and bowed. "Kakarot, don't worry, I won't attack randomly." Son Goku said, "Give me your detector." Raditz said, "Kakarot, what do you want the detector for?" "Yeah." Son Goku glared, and Raditz immediately took off the detector and handed it to Son Goku. Son Goku got the detector and said to Vegeta on the other side of the detector, "Vegeta, I know you can hear me. I'm waiting for you on Earth. If you don't come, you will be my grandson." Deep in the universe, on an unknown planet, Vegeta was so angry that his hair turned green when he heard what was coming from the detector. He yelled, "Kakarot, you piece of trash, wait for me, I will kill you. There is no whole body." Son Goku heard this and said, "Okay, if you have the guts, I'll wait for you to come." After saying that, he turned off the detector. Vegeta was furious when he heard this. He condensed an energy ball in his hand and smashed a mountain in the distance to pieces. Then he said to Nappa next to him, "Follow me and go to the Earth immediately. I want to kill the Kakarot, and boneless Raditz, dead without a whole body." Nappa heard the words and immediately said, "Yes, King Vegeta." So after a while, the two people took the spherical spacecraft and rushed to the Earth. After Son Goku subdued Raditz, he asked Piccolo, "Piccolo, do you want to become stronger?" Piccolo heard this and snorted coldly, "Of course I do, what can you do?" Son Goku said, "Come back to my house with me and I will tell you." Piccolo said angrily, "Son Goku, stop trying to be so secretive. If you want to say something, just say it. If you don't want to say something, just push him down." Son Goku said, "The way to become stronger is to practice in a gravity room. Do you have a gravity room? Or will you build a gravity room?" Piccolo was stunned when he heard this, and then said, "I can't do it, can you?" Son Goku said, "I can't, but my wife Bulma can." Piccolo was speechless when he heard this. Upon seeing this, Son Goku said, "If you want to become stronger, come to my house." Then he said to Raditz, "Let's go back to my house with me." Raditz nodded, and then Son Goku flew home. Piccolo was thinking about whether to go to Son Goku's home. After a while, Son Goku returned home and saw Bulma. He handed the detector to Bulma and asked him to remove the listening system and improve it so that it could measure greater combat power. Raditz is then introduced to Bulma and Chi-Chi. Under the power of Son Goku, Raditz greeted Bulma and Chi-Chi. Later, Son Goku used instant transmission to pick up Sun Wukong and Sun Wuming from Immortal Island. After arranging for Raditz to stay, Son Goku found Dr. Breves and asked him to help build a gravity chamber, while Bulma went to improve the detector. The next day at noon, Bulma completed the modification of the detector. The maximum combat power it could detect was up to 3 million. When Son Goku found out, he was very happy and praised Bulma. He decided to reward Bulma in the evening. Then he took the detector and came to an uninhabited place, released his aura with all his strength, and checked his combat power. As he guessed, his combat power reached 300,000. At the same time that Son Goku released his breath, everyone on the earth felt Son Goku's breath and were shocked. Piccolo, who was still hesitating, was so frightened that his face turned green after feeling the aura. He stopped hesitating and rushed to Son Goku's house immediately. Son Goku calmed down his breath, then instant transmission, returned home. When Son Goku returned home, when he saw Piccolo arriving, he smiled and said, "You're here." Piccolo said, "Is that breath just you?" Son Goku said, "Yes, it's me. Do you know the gap between us now?" Piccolo said, "Son Goku, don't be too proud. I will surpass you sooner or later." Son Goku smiled and said, "Then I will wait and see." Piccolo asked, "Where is the gravity chamber you mentioned?" Son Goku said, "My father-in-law is building it, it will take a few days." "Okay, then I'll come back in a few days," Piccolo said. Son Goku nodded and said, "You are always welcome." When Piccolo heard this, he stood up and left without saying anything. A few days later, Dr. Breves built the gravity chamber, which can achieve a maximum gravity of 100 times. After Son Goku instant transmission notified Piccolo, the two entered the gravity chamber. After Son Goku adjusted the gravity of his weight-bearing suit to 31 times, he asked Piccolo to prepare, and then adjusted the gravity of the gravity chamber to 10 times. In an instant, Piccolo was pinned to the ground and unable to move. Seeing this, Son Goku had no choice but to turn off gravity and let Piccolo practice slowly in the gravity room. He asked Breves to rebuild a gravity chamber, and at the same time brought Klin, Tien Shinhan, Yamcha, and Dumpling home, allowing them to practice in the gravity chamber with Piccolo and Raditz. Everyone was afraid of Piccolo and Raditz at first. With Son Goku's assurance, everyone entered the gravity room and practiced with Piccolo and Raditz. As for Son Goku, he trains alone in a gravity chamber. The weight-bearing suit itself can reach up to 300 times the gravity, while the gravity of the gravity chamber can reach up to 100 times. The combined force of the two can reach 30,000 times the gravity, which should be enough before Cell, Son Goku secretly said. After that, everyone began to practice hard. In his spare time, Son Goku asked Piccolo to help take care of Sun Wukong and Sun Wuming. Piccolo was firmly opposed to it at first, but he could not escape the law of true fragrance after all. 2 years later, Son Goku has been able to fully adapt to 30,000 times gravity, and his combat power has reached an astonishing 30 million. Of course, Son Goku doesn't know it himself, but he can probably guess it, but he still can't transform into Super Saiyan. But Son Goku doesn't care, his current combat power is completely sufficient. In this matter, Piccolo has adapted to 50 times gravity, and his combat strength has reached 20,000. Raditz is relatively lazy, but he has also adapted to 30 times gravity, and his combat strength has reached 15,000. Krillin has adapted to 40 times gravity, and his combat power has reached 4,005. Tien Shinhan has also adapted to 40 times gravity, and his combat power has reached 5,000. Sun Wuming and Sun Wukong are worthy of being hybrid Saiyans, and they have also adapted to 40 times gravity in the past 2 years. The combat power reached 4,000, Yamcha adapted to 30 times gravity, and the combat power reached 3,005. Dumpling also adapted to 30 times gravity, and the combat power reached 3,000. On this day, everyone was still training as usual, but soon after, they noticed 2 evil auras coming to the earth. Knowing that it was King Vegeta and Nappa, they all left the gravity room and rushed to their home with Son Goku. Landing location. After a while, everyone arrived at the landing place of the two. A moment later, everyone saw two spherical spaceships passing through the atmosphere and hitting the location everyone predicted. The two spacecraft hatches opened, Vegeta and Nappa walked out of the spacecraft, and saw everyone staring at them like monkeys. Vegeta and Nappa flew out of the crater, came to everyone, looked at them one by one, then stared at Raditz and said, "Raditz, you are so courageous, you dare to betray me." Raditz heard the words and said, "King Vegeta, those who know the current affairs are heroes. My brother Kakarot is invincible in the world. He will lead our Saiyan to glory instead of begging for mercy under Frieza." Nappa heard this and said angrily, "Raditz, you loser, you dare to call King Vegeta a dog, I think you are tired of living." After saying that, he saw Vegeta's sharp eyes staring at him, so he hurriedly said, "King Vegeta, I didn't say you were a dog, it was Raditz who said you were a dog." Vegeta became even more angry when he heard this and shouted, "Shut up Nappa, you idiot." Then he looked at Son Goku and said, "You must be Kakarot. Tell me, how do you want to die?" Son Goku smiled and said, "If you want to kill me, you should first understand the situation." Then he said to everyone, "Everyone, let's release your aura and let our Vegeta take a good look at the results of your training in the past 2 years." After everyone heard this, they released their aura one by one. Then everyone began to release their breath. Vegeta and Nappa were dismissive at first, but when they saw that Raditz's combat power reached 15,000, they immediately lost their composure. When he saw that Piccolo's combat power reached 20,000, Vegeta shouted directly, "This is impossible, absolutely impossible. We Saiyan are the fighting nation. How can you, a Namek, have a higher combat power than I, a Saiyan? Oh, by the way, you must have used the wishing beads to improve your combat effectiveness." When everyone heard that Piccolo was from Namek, Clint said, "No wonder Piccolo looks different from us." Piccolo looked complicated when he heard this. Son Goku smiled and said, "Piccolo, after the battle is over, I will go to Namek with you to let you recognize your ancestors." Piccolo nodded upon hearing this. Nappa whispered to Vegeta, "Your Highness, the situation is not good. Raditz's fighting power is better than mine, and the Namek's fighting power is much higher than yours. They also have a group of helpers. We are not opponents, so we should withdraw." Vegeta said, "Don't panic, we can still transform into gorillas. Then you go and kill some Namek people, and I will kill Raditz who turned into a giant ape. That's all." Nappa said, "King Vegeta is still smart, why didn't I think of it?" Vegeta said, "I tell you to use your brain more, but you don't listen." Nappa said, "King Vegeta taught me a lesson." Son Goku watched the two discussing quietly and said with a smile, "You have discussed the tactics." Vegeta said, "There is no need to discuss tactics to deal with you trash." Son Goku looked at Vegeta like he was a fool after hearing this. Vegeta was furious when he saw this and said, "What's that look in your eyes?" Son Goku smiled and said, "Look at the fool's eyes." Vegeta was furious when he heard this and was about to take action. Son Goku said, "Wait a minute, let's move to another place if we want to take action." Vegeta heard this and said, "It would be the same if I changed it." Son Goku said, "You and Nappa come with us." Afterwards, Son Goku and everyone flew towards the wasteland, with Vegeta and Nappa following behind. Vegeta and Nappa followed Son Goku and others and soon arrived in the wasteland. Vegeta looked at the surrounding environment and said to Goku, "Kakarot, the texture of the buried bone you chose is good." Son Goku said with a smile, "I'm not sure who to bury." Vegeta was furious when he heard this and said, "Kakarot, stop pretending to be superior to me and come here to die." Son Goku smiled and said, "You are so eager to be beaten, I will help you." After saying that, he turned to Piccolo and said, "King Vegeta is a good opponent, I'll leave it to you." Piccolo said, "No problem, I also want to see how much the so-called King Vegeta weighs." With that said, he attacked Vegeta. Vegeta saw this and faced Piccolo without saying a word. Nappa was stunned when everyone saw him. Raditz said to Son Goku, "Kakarot, leave Nappa to me." Son Goku nodded in agreement, and then retreated to the side with everyone to watch the battle. Raditz saw this and smiled at Nappa. "Nappa, are you ready to be beaten?" After hearing this, Nappa pretended to be calm and said, "Raditz, you traitor, you still dare to attack me. Aren't you afraid that King Vegeta will be free to deal with you later?" Raditz heard this and said, haha, you still expect Vegeta to save you? Do you think he can beat that Namek man? Nappa said, don't forget, we are a fighting nation. With a mere 2,000 points difference in combat power, I believe King Vegeta will be able to defeat that Namek man. Raditz said, you'd better take care of yourself, I'll let you make the first move. Nappa said, okay, I want to see if your 15,000 points of combat power are real. After saying that, white flames rose from his body, he raised his iron fist, and struck Raditz with lightning speed. Raditz dodged easily and mocked, you are as slow as a snail, who can you hit? Nappa heard this and said, Raditz, stop getting carried away. After that, he attacked Raditz like a madman. But he couldn't even touch the corner of Nappa's clothes. Raditz said, it's too slow, it's too slow. Nappa, can you still go faster? Nappa was furious when he heard this, rubbed the energy bomb in his hand, and threw it at Raditz. Raditz exploded and knocked the energy bomb away with a slap. Then he said to Nappa, you have been attacking for so long, now it is my turn. After saying that, he attacked Nappa. Before Nappa could react, Raditz's fist hit Nappa's stomach. Nappa rolled his eyes and passed out. Raditz carried Nappa and flew in front of everyone. Said to Son Goku, Nappa is too weak and is no match for me. Son Goku said, Nappa's maximum combat power is no more than 8,000. You are now 15,000. If you can't kill him instantly, you might as well kill him with a piece of tofu. Raditz smiled and said, you're right. Then looked up at the battle between Piccolo and Vegeta. At this time, Vegeta had been beaten by Piccolo until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. In anger, he planned to use his ultimate move to destroy the earth. Vegeta gathered all the energy in his body, put his hands on his waist, and then quickly pushed out, shouting, look at my big explosion attack, Namek, if you dare to get out of the way, the earth will be destroyed by me, ha ha ha. Seeing this, Piccolo quickly concentrated all his breath on his fingertips, and then shouted, watch my demon-piercing light-killing cannon. A spiral light wave was seen, shooting out quickly and colliding with Vegeta's light wave. Seeing this, Vegeta shouted, impossible, I actually caught it. Then the energy output was increased, and the energy wave instantly became thicker and pressed towards Piccolo. Seeing this, Piccolo also increased his energy output, and the energy wave immediately bounced back. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Vegeta. At the critical moment, Vegeta turned aside and the energy wave passed over his shoulder. Vegeta turned around and saw that the battle uniform on his shoulders was completely scorched. Suddenly he was so frightened that he broke into cold sweat. He reacted and murmured, it seems that the only way to kill Kakarot and others is to transform into a giant ape. Then quickly fly high into the sky to look for the moon. After a while, I flew to an altitude of tens of thousands of meters above the ground and finally saw the moon. With his heart pounding, Vegeta's body quickly grew in size. In just a few seconds, he turned into a giant ape more than 10 meters tall, and then fell rapidly. When Piccolo saw Vegeta flying high into the sky, he thought he had escaped, so he chased after him, only to see Vegeta turn into a giant ape. And the aura was several times bigger. I felt bad, but I was still ready to give it a try. Seeing that Piccolo not only did not run away, but instead attacked him, Vegeta laughed and said, Namek, my fighting power is 7 or 8 times higher than in its heyday. Are you ready to die? Piccolo said, don't be so boastful. Vegeta heard this and said, since you want to die, then this prince will help you. After saying that, the huge fist hit Piccolo. Piccolo had no time to dodge and was punched to the ground. Piccolo was stunned for a moment. He thought that as Vegeta's strength and size increased, his speed would slow down, but he did not expect that Vegeta's speed not only did not slow down, but became faster than before. When Son Goku saw Vegeta transform into a giant ape, he knew it was time for him to take action. So he walked over to Piccolo and said to Piccolo, leave the rest to me, please step back. Piccolo said, Son Goku, be careful, the opponent's speed and strength have increased several times. Son Goku said, don't worry, I don't take his fighting power seriously yet. Piccolo saw that Son Goku was so confident, so he said no more and flew back to everyone. After Vegeta landed, he saw Son Goku replacing Piccolo and said, Kakarot, are you eager to die? Son Goku smiled and said, it's not certain who will die. Vegeta said angrily. Kakarot, let me see what confidence you have to dare to fight with this prince. After saying that, he attacked Son Goku. Son Goku ducked and punched Vegeta on the left eye. Vegeta suddenly screamed in pain, covered his left eye, and said to Kakarot, when did you hit my eye? Why didn't I see it? Son Goku said, my speed is too fast, of course you can't see it. Vegeta was furious when he heard this, and hit Son Goku again with his huge fist. Son Goku ducked and punched Vegeta in the right eye. Vegeta covered his right eye and said angrily, Kakarot, can you move to a different place and don't hit me in the eye all the time? Son Goku said, don't you think this looks more like an iron-eating beast? What? Vegeta said. Son Goku said awkwardly, oh, I forgot, you are an alien and don't know what an iron-eating beast is. Vegeta said angrily, Kakarot, don't think that you can defeat me with your sneak attack just now. I am the Prince of Saiyan. How can I be defeated by a low-level warrior like you? Son Goku smiled and said, okay, I won't tease you anymore, I'm going to take action, are you ready? Just as Vegeta was about to speak, he felt a pain in his tail, and then his body quickly shrunk. In panic, he said to Son Goku, when did you cut off my tail? Son Goku smiled and said, when you were ready to talk big. Vegeta heard this and said, Kakarot, you piece of trash, you can't afford to play, you are doing a sneak attack. Vegeta's tail was cut off and he became smaller. He suddenly panicked. Not to mention Son Goku, he can't even beat Raditz or Piccolo at this time. In the previous battle, he had consumed a lot of energy, and his tail was chopped off by Son Goku, so his combat power had dropped to 13,000 points. However, Raditz's previous fight against Nappa did not consume much energy at all, and his combat power was still at 15,000. Although Piccolo had been somewhat depleted, but the combat power is still 18,000, so Vegeta really can't beat these two in the competition. Son Goku saw Vegeta's appearance and said, let's go. Vegeta was very surprised when he heard this and said, Kakarot, you won't kill me. Son Goku said, I am not interested in weak people. Vegeta heard this and said angrily, Kakarot, just wait, one day I will surpass you, and you will definitely regret it. Son Goku smiled and said, it won't happen one day. Vegeta was furious when he heard this, but he didn't dare to say anything more. He took out the spacecraft remote control, pressed the button, and waited for the spacecraft to fly over. At the same time, everyone came to Son Goku. Krillin said to Son Goku, Goku, are you really going to let him go? What if one day his fighting power exceeds ours? Son Goku confidently said, it won't happen one day. Seeing that Son Goku was so confident, Krillin said, okay, Goku, you have the strength, you have the final say. Piccolo said, Son Jun, how did you cut off Vegeta's tail just now? I only saw a sword light, and Vegeta's tail was cut off. What happened? Son Goku said, that's a unique skill that I practice, which is called turning chi into a sword. It means condensing chi into a sword shape and then firing it out with telekinesis. Piccolo heard this and said, that's it. Klin heard this and said, this move of yours is somewhat similar to my Chi Yuan Slash. My Chi Yuan Slash is to condense the chi into a disc shape and then throw it out to cut the enemy. Son Goku nodded and said, not bad. In fact, this move is quite different from Klin's Chi Yuan Slash. It is easy to condense chi into a sword shape, but it is difficult to operate it with telekinesis. In the original work, when Son Goku was lying in the hospital, it was difficult to operate a glass of water with telekinesis, let alone the disembodied chi sword. Son Goku's ability to do this is all due to his cultivation of divine power over the past few years. Son Goku has been cultivating divine power since making a wish through Namek Shenron. Now that his life level has reached the level of a god, operating an air sword is naturally a breeze. Raditz asked Son Goku, what to do with Nappa? Son Goku heard this and said to Vegeta, Vegeta, do you want your follower? Vegeta said, what is the use of this useless garbage? It's up to you. After hearing this, Son Goku was not surprised and said to Raditz, Nappa will be left to you. When he wakes up, tell him the rules of the earth. Hearing this, Raditz geared up and said excitedly, no problem Kakarot. Son Goku didn't care either. At this moment, Vegeta's spaceship flew over. Vegeta glanced at Son Goku, then got into the spaceship and flew away. Upon seeing this, Son Goku returned to Bulma's house with everyone. After everyone saw Vegeta's strength, they began to train harder. After Nappa woke up, he felt extremely disappointed to know that Vegeta had abandoned him, and then looked at Raditz, Piccolo, and Son Goku trembling. Fortunately, Raditz told him the rules later, and he felt relieved after learning that these people had no intention of killing him. After that, Nappa also started practicing in the gravity room with everyone. Son Goku went to the Celestial Temple alone and asked Celestial Body to help him introduce King Kai. The god was a little surprised how Son Goku knew about King Kai. Son Goku explained that he learned about it through Elder Namek. After hearing the words, the god didn't ask any more questions, and then brought Son Goku to the King of Hell. After some explanation, the King of Hell agreed and let the kid take Son Goku to the entrance of the Snake Path. With Son Goku's current combat power of 30 million, he arrived at Kaio in a matter of seconds. 10 times the gravity of the Earth, combined with the weight-bearing suit, is only 3,000 times the gravity, which is not worth mentioning to Son Goku. King Kai saw Son Goku and said, "Who are you and why are you here?" Son Goku said, "My name is Son Goku, I am a martial artist from Earth. I am here to practice with Lord Kaio." King Kai said, "I see, then, you have to pass my test first before you can practice with me." Son Goku said, "No problem." Afterwards, Son Goku told a few jokes, successfully amusing King Kai, and then used a moment of effort to successfully capture Babulus and hit Gulegli with a hammer. Upon seeing this, King Kai bluntly said that Son Goku was very good, and then began to teach Son Goku Kaioken. Son Goku learned Kaioken in only 3 days. Then start casting Kaioken. I saw Son Goku releasing his whole body's aura, and then shouted, twice Kaioken, and I saw Son Goku's whole body covered with red aura. King Kai felt Son Goku's aura and was so shocked that cold sweat broke out on his head. Everyone on the earth felt this aura and were shocked. Only then did they understand the gap between Son Goku and himself and others. Kaio Star, Son Goku felt the aura on his body, and then began to slowly increase the Kaioken's multiplier. Until 100 times Kaioken, Son Goku felt a slight sense of swelling coming from his body. Knowing that the Kaioken multiplier had been increased to the limit, he stopped increasing it, and then maintained 100 times Kaioken and began to use his fists and kicks. Half an hour later, Son Goku felt the pain coming from his body, lifted Kaioken, and let out a sigh of relief. He said to King Kai, "Thank you very much, Lord Kaio, for your guidance these days." King Kai said, "You're welcome, Goku. I'm very pleased that you can use Kaioken to such a high multiple. It seems that my unique skill will be carried forward in your hands." Son Goku said, "They are all taught well by Kaio." King Kai said, No, Goku, you are talented and strong, so you can bring out the best in Kaioken." Son Goku nodded and said, "I will take my leave, Lord Kaio, and will come to visit you in a few days." King Kai said, "Goku, I also have a special move called Spirit Bomb, won't you learn it?" Son Goku said, "Kaio-sama, I am satisfied if I can learn Kaioken. I can't be too greedy." King Kai praised, "Goku, you are really a man of noble character." Son Goku said, "Kaio-sama has given me the compliment, so I'll leave if there's nothing else to do." King Kai nodded. Son Goku cast instant transmission upon seeing this, and returned to Earth with a swoosh. King Kai was shocked when he saw this. This is the instant transmission of the Adratites. I didn't expect Goku to even learn this. After sensing that Son Goku had returned home, everyone came out of the gravity room one after another. Piccolo saw Son Goku and said, "Son-jun, how much combat power do you have now? Tell us so that we can know the gap between you and us." Son Goku looked at everyone and said, "Do you all want to know?" Krillin said, "Goku, please stop showing off." Son Goku stretched out 3 fingers and said, "My current combat power is estimated to be around 30 million. What, Kakarot, are you telling the truth? Can you already transform into the legendary Super Saiyan?" Raditz said in shock. Piccolo's face turned green with fright, and he said, "Son-jun, I know there is a big gap between us, but I didn't expect the gap to be so big. My combat power is only 25,000, and you have actually reached 30 million. Then can I still catch up with you? Tien Shinhan even smiled bitterly and said, Goku, you are exaggerating. I think we will never catch up with you. Son Goku said to Piccolo, Krillin, Tien Shinhan, Yamcha, and Dumpling, you have lost confidence now. Have you forgotten the spirit of martial arts? Is your goal in training to catch up with me? Son Goku looked at everyone and paused and then said, the spirit of martial arts is never to be competitive, but to persevere and keep your heart no matter what difficulties and obstacles there are on the road ahead. You must set yourself as the goal and constantly surpass the previous ones. This is the true spirit of martial arts. Everyone pondered for a moment and nodded. Son Goku continued, you think that my 30 million combat power is very powerful. In fact, this is not the case. There are many strong people in the vast universe who are more powerful than me now, so everyone should work hard together. Piccolo heard this and said, yes, Sunjun, you are right. Your combat power has reached 30 million, and you are still working hard. Why should we give up? Everyone nodded in agreement after hearing this. Son Goku nodded when he saw this, and said to Raditz and Nappa, I can't transform into Super Saiyan now, but it won't be long before I can transform into Super Saiyan, but it won't be the legendary Super Saiyan. Raditz heard this and said, Kakarot, you are so powerful, you are not Super Saiyan anymore. It seems that Super Saiyan is indeed a legendary existence. Son Goku didn't bother to explain after hearing this. He said to everyone, you came out just in time. I plan to take you to a place to learn some unique skills, so that your combat effectiveness can be increased several times. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard this, and Klin asked, where are you going and what skills are you learning? Son Goku said, you will know when you go there. Then Son Goku asked everyone to wait for a while and went to prepare some food for King Kai. Half a day later, Son Goku filled the 2 space capsules with food, and then used instant transmission to send everyone to Kaio. When the king of Kai saw Son Goku and everyone, he said, Goku, who are they? Son Goku said, they are all my friends. I sent them here because I want them to follow you and learn Kaioken. Then Son Goku introduced to everyone, this is the Kaio-sama in charge of the Northern Galaxy. I sent you here so that you can learn Kaioken from him. After hearing this, everyone saluted King Kai. King Kai said, since you are Goku's friends, I agree, but the test is still necessary. After hearing this, Son Goku told everyone about the test, and then gave the prepared food to King Kai. King Kai was extremely happy and said to Son Goku, Goku, you came here and brought so many gifts, and then happily moved the food into the hut. Son Goku warned everyone again, and then instant transmission returned to Earth. Everyone was not surprised when they saw this. After Son Goku returned to Earth, he began to try to transform into Super Saiyan. After getting tired of Bulma and Chi-Chi for a few days, Son Goku left the western capital and came to a deserted place to try to transform into Super Saiyan. As Son Goku gave a low shout, in an instant, there was strong wind and thunder and lightning around him. The white aura around Son Goku turned into gold, his hair also turned from black to gold, and his pupils turned from black to white, and then became green. Son Goku looked at the changes around him and murmured, is this Super Saiyan? It has indeed improved a lot. The basic combat power has increased 50 times. Kalanta Miao Sage, the celestial god of the celestial temple, and the Kaiowei were no longer surprised to feel the huge and vast aura of Son Goku. After a while, Son Goku released his Super Saiyan transformation and returned home. After that, let Bulma and Dr. Breves help build a gravity chamber with a gravity of up to 300 times. A few days later, the gravity chamber was completed and Son Goku began training again. Deep in the universe, at the Frieza Legion base, Vegeta walked out of the treatment chamber and put on his combat uniform. The medical staff next to him handed the detector to Vegeta. Vegeta waved his hand and said, no, I'll give it to you. Then he looked out. Go. They didn't go far when they met the annoying Chuyi with a blue head. Chuyi laughed and said, hey, isn't this King Vegeta? Why did he go to the earth and be severely injured? He even lost his 2 younger brothers. Vegeta snorted, get out of here. Chuyi smiled and said, Vegeta, you don't know. Thanks to you, King Frieza has learned that Namek has the wishing bead. He has already gone to Namek. After the king makes a wish, you will honestly be the king's. A dog. Vegeta heard this and said angrily, how can it be repaired? Then he immediately turned around and ran to the medic, grabbed the detector, carried it to his ear, quickly left the building, jumped on the universe spaceship, adjusted the destination, and went to Namek. Chuyi saw this and yelled, Vegeta, you dared to act privately and disobey the king's order. Don't you want to live? It's a pity that Vegeta couldn't hear him at all after he got on the spaceship. Upon seeing this, Chuyi could only immediately take the spaceship and chase Vegeta. On Earth, Son Goku came out of the gravity chamber and estimated that Frieza had almost reached Namek, so he used an instant transmission to reach Kaio. Then he said to Piccolo, Piccolo, your hometown is suffering. It's time to join me to save your hometown. Piccolo said excitedly after hearing this, okay, Mr. Sun, let's go to Namek as soon as possible. Son Goku said, don't worry, I can use instant transmission and I can feel Namek in a moment. Piccolo calmed down after hearing this. Son Goku looked at the crowd again and said, you all come with me. Elder Namek has a way to improve your combat effectiveness and can help you improve your combat effectiveness. Everyone was very happy when they heard this. At this time, everyone has learned Kaioken. Among them, Piccolo can cast Kaioken up to 5 times, with a basic combat power of 60,000. Sun Wukong's basic combat power is 30,000, and Sun Wuming's basic combat power is 28,000. Both of them can cast Kaioken 3 times. Raditz's base combat power is 30,000, and he can cast Kaioken 3 times. Nappa's base combat power is 15,000, and he can cast twice the Kaioken. Tien Shinhan has a base combat power of 15,000 and can cast twice the Kaioken. Krillin's base combat power is 13,000, and he can cast twice the Kaioken. Yamcha has a base combat power of 10,000 and can cast twice the Kaioken. Dumpling has a base combat power of 8,000 and can cast twice the Kaioken. After Son Goku checked it, he nodded unconsciously. After everyone practiced in the gravity room, their combat effectiveness was much improved compared to the original work. Although it is useless against Frieza, it is more than enough to clear out the miscellaneous soldiers. I wonder what King Vegeta will think when he sees me now. Raditz said to Nappa. Nappa said, I also want to know how King Vegeta will respond when I cast twice the Kaioken. The two looked at each other and laughed. Son Goku said to everyone, okay, no more nonsense, I will take everyone away. So everyone held hands and surrounded Son Goku. Son Goku carefully felt the aura of the Great Elder, and then activated instant transmission. In the blink of an eye, the scene changed before everyone's eyes. When they looked up, they saw a huge Namek man with an old face and closed eyes appearing in front of everyone. Son Goku said to Elder Namek, long time no see, Great Elder. The Great Elder opened his eyes and said, Goku, you are here. Son Goku said, yes, I am here, and the person who brought disaster to Namek is also here, but don't worry, Great Elder, with my current strength, it is more than enough to deal with this person. The Great Elder said, that's good. Then he saw Piccolo, and just as he was about to speak, Nero ran in and said to everyone, who are you? Son Goku said to Nilu, long time no see, Nilu. Nilu heard the sound, followed the sound and found Son Goku. He said, you are Son Goku. I haven't seen you in a few years. You have grown so tall. Son Goku smiled and said, as I grow up, I will naturally grow taller. Okay, if Nilu has anything to say, I'll tell you later. Let me first take a look at the people of my clan who are living outside the country, the Great Elder said to Nilu. Upon hearing this, Nilu said, it's the Great Elder. The Great Elder said to Piccolo, you are a member of my clan who is living abroad, right? Whose child are you? Piccolo heard this and said respectfully to the elder, I don't know either. Hearing this, the Great Elder said, come forward and I will find out after I investigate. Piccolo came forward after hearing the words. The elder's big palm-like hands were placed on Piccolo's head, and he closed his eyes to explore. After a moment, he opened his eyes and said, so you are Kazda's child. Without waiting for anyone to ask questions, the Great Elder said, Kazda is the most genius child in Namek. When there was a disaster in Namek, he escaped from Namek in a spaceship. Then he said to Piccolo, the separation of good and evil has also split your talent into 2. If the other side of you can be integrated again, the talent will return and your strength will be greatly improved. Piccolo knew that the Great Elder was talking about fusion with the god, but he was worried that his personality would change after the fusion, so he did not plan to fuse for the time being. The Great Elder once again put his hand on Piccolo's head and said, I already know your purpose of coming. Now I will help you improve your potential so that you can cope with the upcoming crisis. Then, Piccolo felt that his body was full of energy. After a while, the Great Elder moved his hand away and said to Piccolo, You are worthy of being a child of Kazda. You really have unlimited potential. It's a pity that I can only develop it to this point. Piccolo said, Thank you, Great Elder. The Great Elder nodded and then motioned to the next person. Nelu was a little worried about the Great Elder's health. Son Goku stepped forward and handed the Great Elder 3 fairy beans and said to the Great Elder, Great Elder, these are 3 fairy beans that can restore your physical strength. The Great Elder heard this and said, Okay, Goku, I understand. Goku nodded upon hearing this, and then motioned for everyone to step forward one by one to develop their potential. So Klin, Tien Shinhan, Sun Wukong, Sun Wuming, Raditz, Nappa, Dumpling, and Yamcha successively developed their potential. During this period, the Great Elder used 2 fairy beans. After Yamcha developed his potential, Son Goku sensed everyone's fighting power. Piccolo's combat effectiveness increased 5 times, reaching 300,000. Sun Wukong and Sun Wuming's combat effectiveness increased tenfold, reaching around 300,000. Raditz's combat effectiveness increased threefold, reaching 90,000. Nappa's combat effectiveness increased threefold, reaching 90,000. Tien Shinhan and Klin both increased 5 times. Tien Shinhan's combat effectiveness reached 75,000, and Krillin's combat effectiveness reached 65,000. Yamcha and Dumpling increased 4 times, and their combat effectiveness reached 40,000 and 30,000 respectively. Just in case. Son Goku secretly said, Now everyone is not only Frieza's miscellaneous soldiers, but also the Ginyu special forces can be dealt with. Just pay attention to Ginyu's soul exchange. Son Goku said to the Great Elder, Great Elder, now that we have developed their potential, we will go to resist those invaders. The Great Elder said, I'll leave it to you all. Son Goku said, This is what we should do. After saying that, everyone walked out of the building. Son Goku said to everyone, Now Frieza's army is invading Namek and snatching the Dragon Ball. Go and help resist the invaders and protect the villages. As long as you don't run into Frieza, you will be fine. Everyone nodded after hearing this, and then flew to each village in pairs to save the Namek people. Son Goku also went in the same direction with Sun Wuming to save the Namek village. At this time, Vegeta had just arrived at Namek when he was entangled by Chu Yi. Chu Yi said to Vegeta, Vegeta, you dare to betray King Frieza, have you thought about how to die? Vegeta sneered and said, If you don't take the road to heaven, if you don't take it, if there is no door to hell, you can throw yourself into it. It's not certain who of us will die. Chu Yi said, Stop talking big words. You and I are about the same fighting capacity. I just need to hang on to you. When King Frieza sends someone here, you will be dead. Vegeta said, Then you have to be able to hang on to me. Then Vegeta turned off the combat power detector and said to Chu Yi, Open your dog eyes and see what my combat power is. After that, Vegeta burst out with breath, and the detector on Chu Yi's face kept beeping, and the value inside rose sharply, exceeding 20,000 in an instant. Chu Yi was so frightened that he broke into cold sweat and shouted, Impossible. Then with a bang, the combat power detector exploded instantly, and at the same time, the detector of Dodoria next to Frieza exploded. Frieza said, Dodoria, what's going on? Dodoria quickly said, King Frieza, the detector just detected that Vegeta's combat power exceeds 22,000. Sabo on the side said, That is an old-fashioned detector of yours, let me use the new one to explore it. Then the detector was turned on. After a few beeps, the value on it reached 24,000. Frieza asked Sabo, What is Vegeta's combat power? Sabo said, King Frieza, Vegeta's combat power has reached 24,000. What? Dodoria said in shock. Frieza's eyes flashed coldly and he said to Dodoria, Dodoria, you lost your temper. This is just this time. It won't happen again. Hearing this, Dodoria broke into a cold sweat and said, I know I was wrong. Frieza waved his hand and said, Vegeta has been fighting on the front line all year round. It is not surprising that he has such fighting power. You two can still defeat him together. The top priority now is to find the wishing beads for me as soon as possible. Do you understand, Mr. Dodoria? Dodoria quickly said. My subordinates know. Frieza said. Go ahead, I hope Mr. Dodoria won't keep me waiting too long. Dodoria's heart trembled and she immediately said, I understand. Then he turned around and went out to find the wishing beads. Frieza looked at Dodoria's figure and said to Sabo, Mr. Sabo, Vegeta will be left to you. Don't let me down. Sabo said, Yes, King Frieza. Then he turned around and went out to chase Vegeta. The words are divided, Chuyi's side is in dire straits. Knowing that Vegeta's strength was far superior to his own, Chuyi was so frightened that he broke into cold sweat and said, Listen to me, Vegeta. Let's work together to kill Frieza and then take control of Frieza's army. There is no need to fight to the death. Vegeta sneered. You'd better die, I can kill Frieza alone. When Chuyi heard this, he turned around and ran, but he couldn't outrun Vegeta. Vegeta accelerated and stopped in front of Chuyi, and said, Where are you going to run to? Upon seeing this, Chuyi had an idea and shouted behind Vegeta, Why are you here, King Frieza? As soon as Vegeta turned his head, Chuyi instantly fired an energy wave. After firing more than a dozen energy waves, he laughed breathlessly and said, Vegeta, it doesn't matter if your fighting power is higher than mine. You're not going to fall for the uncle's will and die. It's in my hands, ha ha ha. Oh, really? A familiar voice came from the smoke. Chuyi was shocked, and when he took a closer look, the smoke and dust dissipated, and he saw Vegeta walking out unharmed. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Didn't you fall into my ambush? How could you be unscathed? Chuyi said loudly. Vegeta sneered and said, These tricks of yours are all leftover from my uncle's playing. If you dare to try anything in front of me, I have been wary of you for a long time. When Chuyi heard this, he immediately panicked and ran away. Seeing this, Vegeta charged up a big explosion attack and sent Chuyi back to the west. Looking at the shattered Chuyi, he said, What a dirty firework. Then he murmured, I have to collect the wishing beads before Frieza. Even if I can't collect them all, I can't let Frieza collect 7 wishing beads, otherwise I will never turn over. Thinking of this, he turned on the detector, explored the Namek village, and then rushed towards the village. Besides, Son Goku and others, after leaving the Great Elder's residence, flew to each village in pairs to save the Namek people. A group of Krillin and Sun Wukong soon arrived at a village and happened to catch up with a group of Frieza Legion soldiers who were massacring the Namek people and asking for the wishing beads. Without saying a word, the two of them spread out their fists and kicked, and in a moment they eliminated the group of Frieza Legion soldiers and rescued the Namek people. Sun Wukong said to the elder of the Namek village, We are sent by the Great Elder to rescue you, you don't have to be afraid. The village elder said, You came too soon, otherwise our village will not only be slaughtered, but the wishing beads will also be lost. Klin said, Elder, you don't have to be polite. Speaking of which, we were still late, otherwise so many people wouldn't have been killed. Everyone was very sad when they heard this, and the two of them didn't know how to comfort everyone, so they said, Now that the crisis has been resolved, elders, we will leave. We have to go to rescue other villages, otherwise we will be late and many people will die. The elder nodded and said, What you are saying is, I asked Den to go with you. Although he has no fighting ability, he can treat injuries and should be of some help to you. After speaking, he brought a Namek child in front of the two of them. After hearing the words, the two nodded in agreement, and then, under the leadership of Den, they flew to the nearest village. The three of them flew for a while and happened to meet Dodoria holding a wishing bead. Upon seeing this, Dodoria immediately stopped the three of them and said with a cruel smile, You three brats are really unlucky. You deserve to be unlucky if you run into me. Sun Wukong and Klin looked at each other and said with a smile, Ha ha, it seems that you, fat pig, still don't understand the situation. Dodoria heard this and said angrily, Brat, you dare to call me a fat pig. I will tear your mouth apart later. Sun Wukong laughed and said, I'm going to call you a fat pig. What can you do? Come and beat me if you have the ability. How can you repair it? Just die, you kid. After saying this, he fired an energy bomb at Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong just slapped him away. Dodoria saw this and said, "You really have some abilities, little brat. Let me see how much fighting power you have." After that, he opened the detector and saw a value of 1000 displayed on it. Dodoria smiled and said, "It turns out that you are a little brat with only 1000 combat strengths. I thought you had at least 10,000 combat strengths. You are a piece of rubbish like you. Our Frieza Legion is full of them. How dare you provoke your family? Uncle Dodoria, I am really impatient with life." Sun Wukong heard this and said, "Look at your detector carefully," and then released his own breath. Dodoria's detector suddenly beeped non-stop, and after the value exceeded 22,000, it exploded with a bang. Dodoria suddenly broke into a cold sweat and ran away without saying a word. As a result, he was instantly stopped by Klin. Dend asked Dodoria, "Where did you get this wishing bead? What did you do to my people?" Dodoria lied. "They gave me this wishing bead, I didn't do anything to them." When Klin heard this, he said, "You can only deceive the children, not us." Seeing that the lie was discovered, Dodoria gave up and said, "Yes, I am lying to you. I snatched this wishing bead and killed everyone in the village. How about it? Do you dare to kill me? If you kill me, King Frieza will not let you go." Hearing this, Krillin fired a Kamehameha and sent Dodoria home to the west. Seeing this, Sun Wukong ducked and caught the wishing bead. The two comforted Dend and said, "Dend, we have avenged you. We can use the Dragon Ball to make a wish to resurrect your people." Dend cried, "It's useless, Palunga can only resurrect one person at a time." Klin heard this and said, "It's okay. Our Shenron on Earth can resurrect many people at once." Dend heard this and said, "Really?" Sun Wukong said, "It's true. When we destroy the invaders and return to Earth, we will make a wish to Shenron to resurrect your people." Dend was overjoyed when he heard this and said, "Thank you." Klin said, "You're welcome. To say thank you, we should also thank the Great Elder for developing our potential." Afterwards, the three of them took the Dragon Ball and immediately rushed to other villages to save the Namek people in other villages. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe my channel. Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. I am Son Goku, suppressing the world of Dragon Ball. Chapter 11. Vegeta successfully found the wishing bead after killing the Namek people in a village. Then after hiding the wishing bead, he went to find the next wishing bead. On the way, he discovered Sabo through his sense of chi. So without saying a word, I chased after him. Sabo also spotted Vegeta and waited in the air for Vegeta to catch up. Vegeta caught up after a moment. Sabo said, "Vegeta, you are so easy for me to find. King Frieza was very angry at your betrayal and specifically ordered me to kill you." Vegeta laughed when he heard this and said, "It's just you. As far as I know, your combat power is about the same as that fat pig Dodoria. Both of them only have a combat power of 22,000, while my uncle's combat power has exceeded 22,000. Where did you come from? Can confidence kill me?" Sabo sneered. "My dear King Vegeta, haven't you heard that there are many races in the universe that can improve their combat effectiveness through transformation? Unfortunately, I am one of those races, so Vegeta, have you thought about how to die?" Vegeta heard this and said angrily, "Stop bluffing, this prince is not scared." Sabo smiled and said, "It seems that you won't cry until you see the coffin. In that case, I will help you. Although it will turn into an ugly appearance, as long as I kill you, it doesn't matter." After saying that, Sabo shouted loudly, the aura on his body increased sharply, and at the same time, the muscles in his body expanded, and his face also changed. After a while, Sabo turned into a strong man with bulging muscles and an ugly appearance. Vegeta felt the opponent's aura and was so frightened that he broke out in cold sweat, but he still said harshly, "You are such an ugly monster, and your combat effectiveness has not improved much." Before he could say anything, Sabo ducked and punched him in the abdomen. Vegeta was beaten until he vomited blood and his body bent into a shrimp shape. Sabo said, "I hate people calling me ugly the most. Originally, I wanted to show my kindness and leave you a whole body, but now I have decided that I will let you die without a whole body, Vegeta." Vegeta wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said angrily, "Sabo, I will fight with you." Then an energy bomb hit Sabo and quickly fled away. Sabo slapped away the energy bomb and saw Vegeta running away at high speed and sneered. He accelerated and caught up with Vegeta, stopped in front of Vegeta, and laughed loudly. Vegeta, where are you going? Are you rushing to the underworld? Why don't I give you a ride? After saying that, he ducked behind Vegeta, clasped his hands together, and hit the top of Vegeta's head. Vegeta had no time to dodge and was hit. The body was smashed straight to the ground. Vegeta fired an energy bomb towards the ground, and then stabilized his body. Before Vegeta could take a breath, Sabo was in front of him. Without thinking, Vegeta threw out an energy bomb. Sabo slapped the energy bomb away, and then gave Vegeta a headbutt, which made Vegeta dizzy. Then followed by a knee push. Vegeta was so pushed that he vomited out all the food he had eaten the night before, and fainted on the spot. Sabo laughed when he saw this, then grabbed Vegeta by the ankles, lifted Vegeta up into the air, swung Vegeta several times, and smashed it to the ground. After a loud noise, a big hole was made on the ground, and Vegeta lay in it unaware of his condition. Seeing this, Sabo stepped forward to check and made sure that Vegeta was dead. Then he released the transformation, laughed at Vegeta's corpse, and said, I'm just going to be kind and leave you intact, Vegeta. After that, he flew into the air and returned to Frieza. As a result, Raditz and Nappa blocked the way halfway. Sabo saw this and said, are you two trash looking for death? Raditz laughed loudly and said, Sob, do you think we are still the same as before? It is easy for us to kill you now. Sabo laughed loudly after hearing this and said, Raditz, do you want to laugh me to death? You, a scumbag with only 1005 combat abilities, still want to kill me? Just now, I killed all your King Vegetas. Why do you? Nappa heard this and said, I see, it was you and Vegeta who were fighting just now. Did you kill Vegeta? Sabo said, of course, Vegeta betrayed King Frieza, and King Frieza specifically asked me to destroy him. Nappa said, although Vegeta abandoned me on Earth, he is still my leader no matter what, so Sabo, are you ready to die? Sabo smiled and said, it seems that you Saiyan monkeys are really impatient. All cats and dogs dare to provoke me, so let me send you on your way. After saying that, he ducked behind Raditz and hit the back of Raditz's head with both hands. However, Raditz turned around and with lightning speed, struck Sabo's chest with his elbow. Sabo was elbowed so hard that he vomited blood. He quickly distanced himself and shouted, impossible, how could you react? You are just a scumbag with only 1500 combat power. It is absolutely impossible. Raditz said, my fighting power is only 1500, Sabo, open your eyes and take a good look at the fighting power of Nappa and I. After saying that, he and Nappa released their auras at the same time, and two white flames suddenly rose from their bodies. Sabo looked at Raditz with the detector. He was so frightened at this sight that he broke into cold sweat. Impossible, how can your combat power reach 90,000? You are just a rubbish Saiyan. Then he looked at Nappa, and saw that Nappa's combat power had reached 45,000. Sabo was stunned. Turn around and quickly run away into the distance. Upon seeing this, Raditz fired an energy bomb directly at Sabo. Before Sabo had time to react, he was blasted to pieces by Raditz. Nappa said, Raditz, why don't you play with him? He bullied us a lot in the past. Raditz said, what's the point of this kind of rubbish? Let's hurry up and save other villages. If Kakarot finds out, be careful he takes care of us. When Nappa heard this, he was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat and said, you are right, let's leave now. Raditz nodded, and the two flew towards the direction Sabo came from. After a while, Vegeta was seen squirming on the ground. It turned out that Vegeta had faked his own death and deceived Sabo, but he was also seriously injured and it took a lot of effort to climb out of the pit. Raditz and Nappa immediately landed and came to Vegeta. Vegeta raised his head with difficulty and said, Raditz, Nappa, since you are here, Kakarot must be here too. What, did Kakarot send you here to kill me? Nappa said, Vegeta, don't worry. We are not here to kill you. Although you abandoned me on Earth, I don't blame you. Speaking of which, I would also like to thank you. If you hadn't abandoned me, I would have it won't be as strong as it is today. After Nappa finished speaking, he fed Vegeta a fairy bean and told Vegeta the efficacy of the fairy bean. Vegeta swallowed it without saying a word. In an instant, Vegeta recovered from his injuries, marveling at this. Feeling the majestic breath in his body, Vegeta felt that he was okay again. He said to Raditz and Nappa, Raditz, Nappa, I will give you two a chance to return to my command. I will not pursue your betrayal of me, otherwise. Raditz smiled when he heard this and said, King Vegeta, you really don't forget to eat and not fight. You just recovered from your injury and you feel like you can do it again. Nappa said, Raditz is right. Vegeta, you are really a frog in the well. Do you think that with the little bit of combat power you have gained after recovering from your injuries, you can easily control Raditz and me? Vegeta smiled and said, Nappa, I haven't seen you in a few days, how dare you talk to me like this? Nappa said, Vegeta, do you still think that I am the Nappa who was obedient to you before? Ever since you abandoned me on the earth, I have sworn to sever all ties with you, and now my strength is superior to yours, why do you order me? Vegeta laughed and said, Nappa, are you telling jokes again? Your fighting ability is better than mine. Are you going to laugh me to death? Nappa said, Vegeta, since you don't believe it, then tell me my strength. After saying that, he shouted loudly and released his own aura. Suddenly, Nappa's whole body was enveloped in white aura. As soon as Vegeta sensed it, he immediately shouted, Impossible, I haven't seen you for just a few days, and your combat power has actually increased several times. Nappa said, Vegeta said that you are a frog in a well. You still don't believe it, but you are scared by my little combat power. Then do you know what Kakarot's combat power is? A total of 30 million, and this is just his basic combat power. Vegeta was shocked when he heard this, what are you talking about? Kakarot's combat power is actually 30 million. Don't lie to me. Raditz said, Nappa didn't lie to you, and according to my speculation, Kakarot is very likely to have become a Super Saiyan. Vegeta heard this and said in disbelief, is what you said true? Why does Kakarot have him? He is just a low-level warrior with less than 5 points of combat power at birth. Why does he have it? Raditz said, Nappa said that you are a frog in the well. You still don't believe it. Do you know that the strength of most of the people you met on Earth has surpassed you now? Do you think they are also rubbish? I might as well tell you. My current combat effectiveness is higher than Nappa, all thanks to my training on Earth. Vegeta was extremely shocked when he heard this. Nappa's combat power is almost the same as his own, and Raditz is actually higher than Nappa. This shows that Kakarot must have a special training method, otherwise Raditz, Nappa and the others would not be able to achieve this goal in just a few months. In a short period of time, their combat effectiveness has been improved to such an extent. This is much higher than their combat effectiveness in the past 10 years. No, I have to ask Kakarot for clarification. Having made up his mind, Vegeta stopped looking for Dragon Ball and said to Raditz, where is Kakarot now? I want to see him. Raditz said, Kakarot is now going to kill Frieza's legionnaires. I don't know where he is specifically, but when the time comes to deal with Frieza, he will definitely be there. If you follow us, you can see Kakarot then. Vegeta said, okay, then I will follow you for the time being. Raditz nodded in agreement, thinking that he would have one more helper to deal with Frieza when the time came. So the three of them went to other villages together. Vegeta felt a little ironic when he heard that they were going to save the Namek people. Half a day ago, he slaughtered an entire village of Namek people for the wishing beads, but now he has to follow Nappa and Raditz to save the Namek people. It's really funny. Frieza waited for a long time, but did not see Dodoria and Sabo coming back, so he ordered the soldiers to contact the Ginyu Special Forces and ask them to report with detectors. Son Goku and others dealt with the Frieza Legion soldiers with ease, and quickly wiped out all the Frieza soldiers in each village. After that, everyone returned to the Great Elder's residence one after another. When Son Goku saw Vegeta, he smiled and said, Vegeta, why are you here? Vegeta went straight to the point. Kakarot, have you become a Super Saiyan? Son Goku said, how did you know? Vegeta said, so you have really become a Super Saiyan. Son Goku said, yes, I can already transform into Super Saiyan. Vegeta asked, what does it mean to transform into Super Saiyan? Son Goku said, there are many races in the universe that can improve their combat effectiveness through transformation. Our Saiyan is also one of them. The so-called Super Saiyan is a transformation of Saiyan. After transforming into a Super Saiyan, the combat effectiveness will be 50 times the original amount. Vegeta heard this and said ecstatically, so Saiyan can transform into a Super Saiyan through training? Son Goku said, yes, theoretically, any Saiyan can transform into a Super Saiyan through training. Raditz and Nappa heard this and said, then can we also transform into Super Saiyan? Son Goku said, of course. Kakarot, tell me quickly, how can I transform into Super Saiyan? Vegeta asked hurriedly. Son Goku said, it doesn't hurt to tell you. Anyway, you will know sooner or later. There are 2 conditions for transforming into Super Saiyan. What conditions? Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa asked in unison. Son Goku said, the first condition is, its combat power must reach 3 million, the second condition is endless anger. Of course, Son Goku's current situation is very special. After his combat power reaches 30 million, he can easily transform into a Super Saiyan. Therefore, Son Goku guesses that there is another way to transform into a Super Saiyan, and that is to have a high enough combat power. If Saiyan's body is compared to a bucket, and combat power is compared to water. When the water is full, it overflows, so a bigger bucket is needed, and this bigger bucket is the transformation of Super Saiyan. Vegeta heard this and said, that's it. Son Goku said, Vegeta, join us. Only in this way can you transform into Super Saiyan as soon as possible. You don't want Raditz and Nappa to transform into Super Saiyan 1 step ahead of you. Vegeta heard this and snorted coldly. I am the Prince of Saiyan, how can I be inferior to them? Son Goku smiled and said, if you practice alone, you will definitely fall behind them. Taking your current combat effectiveness as an example, the combat effectiveness of Piccolo, Wu Zhen, Wu Ming, Raditz, Tien Shinhan, and Klin here are all higher than yours. In terms of true strength, everyone present, except for the Great Elder and Nelu, is stronger than you. What? I don't believe it. Is this little kid with only 1 hair on his head better than me? Vegeta asked. Son Goku said, Dumpling's combat power is indeed not as high as yours, but he knows Kaioken and can use twice Kaioken to triple his combat power to 64,000 points, while you only have 60,000 points. Point for combat power, so Dumpling's real strength is better than yours. Vegeta heard this and said, okay, in order to transform into Super Saiyan, I am willing to join you, but I will not be your subordinate. Son Goku said, don't worry, I won't treat you as a subordinate. Vegeta said, then it's not easy for you to deal with Frieza now. Son Goku said, not bad. Then what are you waiting for? Kill Frieza as soon as possible so that you can go back to practice, Vegeta said. Son Goku said, I am waiting for the Ginyu Special Forces. When they come, I will destroy them all. Vegeta said, that's it. So everyone rested in the Great Elder's residence while waiting for the arrival of the Ginyu Special Team. During this period, Nero thought again and finally chose to assimilate with Piccolo. Probably Nelu felt that his combat power was too poor to fight against the Frieza Legion. This time, Son Goku and others helped him, but next time, it would be better to help Piccolo and increase Piccolo's strength. In this way, Namek will have an additional high-end combat power that can better protect Namek. The Great Elder understood Nelu's mood and agreed with Nelu's approach. So at Nelu's plea, Piccolo assimilated Nelu, and his combat power reached an astonishing 3.4 million, the combined combat power of the two multiplied by 10, which was an increase of more than 10 times. When everyone on Earth saw this, they were quite envious. One day later, Son Goku and others sensed that 5 powerful auras had descended on Namek. Needless to say, it must have been the Ginyu Special Forces. So Son Goku led everyone to use instant transmission and arrived in front of Frieza. He happened to see the 5 members of the Ginyu Special Forces doing weird moves in front of Frieza, making everyone laugh. Frieza also wanted to laugh, but because of the dignity of the Ginyu Special Forces, he held back. Frieza looked at the crowd, saw Vegeta, and said, "Oh, Vegeta, did you lead these people to join me? I only accept elites, and I will not accept." Vegeta said, "Look at what I'm doing. Do you treat me as a pleasure?" Frieza smiled and said, "Oh ho ho, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about you all being." Vegeta was furious and said, "Frieza, just let you be rampant for a while, and you will suffer later." Son Goku asked knowingly, "You are Frieza. I thought you had 3 heads and 6 arms." For someone like you, you still have the nerve to say that you are the emperor of the universe. Frieza heard this and said, "Who are you? How dare you bark in front of this great king?" Vegeta rushed to speak. "He is the Super Saiyan you have always been afraid of, Kakarot. Frieza, are you ready to die?" Ha ha ha. When Frieza heard this, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and the two lasers arrived in front of Vegeta in the blink of an eye. If nothing else happened, Vegeta would be pierced through the body. Son Goku was in front of Vegeta in an instant, blocking the two rays of light. Then he said, "Frieza, do you think you don't take me seriously and dare to do something in front of me?" Frieza saw that Son Goku had easily blocked his own light, so he said, "Oh ho ho, it seems that your Super Saiyan really has this ability, then let the Ginyu Special Forces under my command test and test, you guys how much is it?" Captain Ginyu heard this and said, "King Frieza, don't worry, it's just a few rubbish, we will solve it soon." Frieza said, "Oh ho ho, then it's Captain Ginyu's fault." Ginyu said, "I will swear allegiance to the king to the death." Then he turned around and discussed with the other 4 people who would take the first shot. In the end, they all guessed and Lickum won and took the lead. Son Goku saw Lickum taking action, looked at everyone, and decided to let Yamcha practice his skills. Yamcha's combat power is the same as Lickum's, with a fighting strength of 40,000. Lickum is the best way to practice. So Yamcha stepped forward and said to Lickum, "Silly man, I will be your opponent." Hearing this, Lickum grinned and said, "Let me see how powerful you are in combat. How dare you say such arrogant words?" Then he looked at the detector, which showed that Yamcha's combat power was only 1000, so Lickum said, "You are a piece of trash with only 1000 combat power, but you dare to come up and die, I will help you." After saying that, he dodged and rushed in front of Yamcha, hitting Yamcha's abdomen with his iron fist. Yamcha punched out and collided with Lickum's iron fist, causing a gust of wind. Seeing this, Lickum stepped back more than 10 meters away and said, "How could you catch my iron fist?" Ginyu shouted at Lickum, "Lickum, you idiot, don't believe too much in the value on the combat power detector. They should be able to freely adjust their combat power. That kid's combat power should be about the same as you. Be careful. Don't be embarrassed in front of King Frieza." When Lickum heard Ginyu talking about King Frieza, he was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat. Only then did he realize it later and secretly said, "King Frieza is watching him, so he can't be careless." So he said, "Captain, I understand, and I will deal with it with all my strength." After that, he used all his strength to attack Yamcha. Yamcha stopped pretending when he saw this, raised his aura, and used his famous stunt, Wolf Fang Wind Fist, and hit Lickum. The two of them punched hard and hit each other. "You punched me, and I kicked you." They fought for a long time, and they were all stained. Yamcha was beaten until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, and Lickum was also beaten until his mouth and eyes were crooked. Seeing that he couldn't defeat his opponent, Yamcha used another one of his famous tricks, energy bombs. He commanded the air bombs to fly around after Lickum. Seeing that he couldn't escape, Lickum simply stopped evading and spit out energy bombs, killing him directly with the air bombs. Yamcha saw that the gas bomb could not do anything to the opponent, so he stopped pretending and directly used Kaioken twice. With lightning speed, he dodged in front of Raikumu and shot Raikumu with a Shoryuken. Hit the sky. Then he put his hands on his waist and shouted, "Turtle Pai Chi Gong." Ki blast launched quickly and hit Lickum in the blink of an eye. Raikumu was blown to pieces, and Yamcha lifted Kaioken, saying, "What a dirty firework." Then he returned to everyone. Vegeta asked Son Goku, "Is the technique that the boy used just now to increase his combat power the Kaioken you called?" Son Goku said, "Yes, after using Kaioken, the speed, strength, and combat effectiveness will be doubled. Just now, Yamcha only used twice Kaioken, and Piccolo can already use 5 times Kaioken." Hearing this, Vegeta took a breath and said, "Who invented such a perverted technique?" King Kai, who was far away on Kaio, sneezed. When Ginyu saw that Lickum was killed by Yamcha, his face turned pale immediately, and he asked Geese to come on. At the same time, he secretly asked Gouda to use his superpower to assist Geese and kill the opponent. Seeing Gizi coming on the field, Son Goku looked at everyone and decided to let Krillin come on the field to practice his skills. Krillin's current base combat power is 65,000, which is 5,000 points higher than Gith. Plus he can use Kaioken. Gith is no match at all. When Giz saw that his opponent was Klin, he said to Klin, "Little bald man, have you figured out how to die?" Hearing this, Klin said, "White-haired ghost, who is not certain of death." When Giz heard this, he was furious and said, "White-haired ghost, you actually called me white-haired ghost, you go to hell." After saying that, he rushed to Klin in a flash and kicked Klin in the abdomen. Klin bent his arms to block, and at the same time, he hit Giz in the abdomen with his other hand. Gizi took a punch from Krillin, held his stomach, jumped back, and distanced himself. He said, "Little bald head, don't be complacent. I was careless just now and didn't dodge. Next, I will use my full strength. Just wait for death." Klin said, "White-haired ghost, stop talking nonsense, I'm waiting for you to attack." When Giz heard the words, "white-haired ghost," he was immediately angry and attacked without saying a word. The two began to fight hand to hand, punching and kicking each other, and smoke and dust suddenly filled the area. As he kept hitting, Giz found that he was no match for him. Whenever he flew behind Klin, all he hit were afterimages. At this time, Klin would appear behind Giz and hit Giz hard. One punch. Half a day later, GC was beaten until he vomited blood, his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, so he glanced at Gouda vaguely, and Gouda immediately understood. The next moment, Giz rushed towards Klin. Just as Klin was about to make a move, he was immobilized by Gyudu's superpower. He was kicked by Giz and flew into the air. Before Klin could make a move, he ducked behind Klin and kicked Klin to the ground. Just like that, he treated Klin like a ball in the air and kicked it up. The members of the Ginyu Special Forces laughed out loud when they saw this. Sun Wukong said to Son Goku worriedly, "Uncle Klin, will everything be okay?" Son Goku said, "It's okay, Krillin hasn't released Kaioken yet." As soon as he finished speaking, Krillin exploded with twice the Kaioken, and his combat power instantly reached 130,000. He hit Giz with one punch, and then issued a Kamehameha. Giz only had time to scream in agony before he was turned into scum. All this happened in the blink of an eye. By the time Ginyu reacted, Giz had already received the lunch box. Ginyu was so angry that he yelled at Gyudu, "Gyudu, you loser, what are you doing? Didn't you ask you to use your superpower to immobilize the other party? Why didn't you immobilize the other party?" Gouda was so frightened that he trembled all over and said to Ginyu, "I have used my superpower just now, but the opponent's combat power just now exceeded the upper limit of my control and got rid of my control." Ginyu calmed down after hearing this. Although he did not use a detector to detect the opponent's combat power just now, judging from the momentum the opponent burst out, the combat power must have exceeded 100,000. Gouda naturally couldn't control it. Thinking of this, he secretly cursed Gouda for being useless, and then Frieza's voice came from behind. I only heard Frieza say, "Oh ho ho, it seems that the Ginyu Special Forces are in trouble. Do you need me to take action, Captain Ginyu?" Ginyu suddenly panicked, turned around and bent down to Frieza. "King Frieza, we just encountered some minor troubles, and we don't dare to trouble King Frieza to take action." Frieza heard this and said, "That's good, Captain Ginyu, don't keep me waiting." Ginyu immediately stood up straight and said, "Yes, King Frieza." Then he turned around and came to the crowd and said, "This time, I will personally take action. Which one of you will come forward to die?" Son Goku looked at everyone, and then said to his eldest son, "Son Wukong, Wukong, please go up." Then he whispered a few words to Son Wukong. Son Wukong was shocked at first, and then said to Son Goku, "Father, I understand." Son Goku nodded, and Piccolo said from the side, "Goku, is it okay to let Wukong take action?" Son Goku said, "No problem, Goku's combat power is far superior to Ginyu, Piccolo, don't worry." Piccolo nodded after hearing this. As long as he and Son Goku were here, nothing would happen to Son Wukong. When Ginyu saw Son Goku asking Son Wukong to fight against him, he burst into laughter and taunted, "You are so grown up, but you actually sent a little brat to die. It really made me laugh to death." Son Wukong said, "Smile, I'm laughing at you for being paralyzed. Look at me, if I don't spank you till your ass is wet, I will take your surname." When Son Wukong opened his mouth, everyone was stunned. Clin said bluntly. Wu Zhen won't learn bad things from Piccolo, right? After hearing this, Piccolo glanced at Clin and said, what's wrong with Wu Zhen? Children should release their nature. Are they pretending to be serious like us adults? When Clin heard this, he shrank his neck and said sincerely, ah, you are right. Son Goku listened thoughtfully to the conversation between the two. Son Goku, unlike the original Son Gohan, was taught by Chi-Chi to be a good boy from an early age. Over the years, Sun Wuzhen and Sun Wuming have spent most of their time practicing with themselves and others. No one restrained them, and the children's nature was released, so they formed this kind of character. It's not a bad thing anyway. This is more conducive to Sun Wuzhen's cultivation. Son Goku doesn't want to the two sons were raised useless. Turning to the other side, Ginyu, when he heard Sun Wuzhen's words, he immediately became furious and said to Sun Wuzhen, Saiyan are a bunch of barbaric monkeys, they don't understand any etiquette. I'm kindly letting you live a little longer, but you dare to insult me. Since you are so anxious to die, I will help you. As he said that, he rushed to Sun Wuzhen in a flash and kicked Sun Wuzhen in the neck. In the imagination, the scene of Sun Wuzhen's neck being kicked off did not fail to appear. Sun Wuzhen was seen not moving at all. He tilted his head and looked at Ginyu and said, we are weak, do you have food? Seeing this, Ginyu's eyes were full of disbelief and he said, impossible, absolutely impossible. How could you, kid, catch my move without avoiding it and not get hurt at all? Sun Wuzhen laughed and said, there is nothing impossible, I can only say that you have never seen the world. Ginyu dodged, jumped back about 10 meters, and said, don't talk nonsense, saying that I have never seen the world. I fought for King Frieza, conquered the universe, no one has seen it. It was just a tentative attack just now. Sun Wuzhen said, oh, really, then why are you sweating on your head? Ginyu heard this and said, it's just that the weather is too hot. Sun Wuzhen smiled and said, do you believe this? When Ginyu heard this, he became angry and said, don't look down on others, little brat. I will go all out next time. You just wait to die. After saying that, without waiting for Sun Wuzhen's reply, he attacked. Ginyu hit Sun Wuzhen's afterimage with one punch. After reacting, Ginyu looked around for Sun Wuzhen's figure, and suddenly Sun Wuzhen's words rang in his ears, ugly, what are you looking at? Ginyu hurriedly stepped forward, distanced himself, then turned his head to look, and saw that Sun Wuzhen was nowhere to be seen. Sun Wuzhen's words came to his ears again, Da Shabai, what are you looking for? Ginyu exploded with all his strength, flew into the air and laughed, kid, you can't catch up with me now, ha ha ha. Sun Wuzhen said from behind Ginyu, are you stupid, Ginyu? When Ginyu heard this, he was immediately frightened out of his wits. He dodged and distanced himself, but Sun Wuzhen was always following Ginyu like a phantom. After a while, Ginyu's mentality was almost broken. Sun Wuzhen played for a while and felt bored, so he said, Ginyu, I don't want to play anymore. I'm going to send you on your way. Are you ready? Ginyu heard this and said, can you tell me what your combat power is so that I can understand clearly? Sun Wuzhen said, I want to know, but I won't tell you. When Ginyu was about to have a seizure, Sun Wuzhen said, watch your detector carefully. Then Sun Wuzhen shouted, ah, then white flames bloomed all over his body, and his breath rose sharply. Ginyu's detector kept beeping, and the value started to rise linearly from 120,000. 130,000, 140,000, 150,000, 280,000, 290,000, 300,000, Ginyu muttered to himself, trembling all over at the same time. Frieza below was also quite shocked when he found out Sun Wuzhen's numerical value, and murmured at the same time, it seems that not a single Saiyan monkey can be left. Sun Wuzhen calmed his breath and said, ugly monster, have you seen it clearly? Are you ready to die? Ginyu laughed when he heard this and said, okay, it's a body with endless potential. Now it's mine. Then he shouted, exchange, and saw his soul leaving the body and heading towards Sun Wuzhen. Sun Wuzhen realized that his body could not move, and immediately released 3 times Kaioken. When he realized that his body had returned to normal, he directly gathered all the energy in his body, crossed his palms on his forehead, shouted, magic flash, and saw a huge energy column from the sound from his palm instantly hit Ginyu's soul. Ginyu only uttered, "No," and then his soul was shattered. Afterwards, the energy wave continued unabated, blasting Ginyu's body into rubbish. All this happened in a flash of lightning, and Frieza was furious when he saw it. He flew out of the stroller, came to the crowd, and said, "Very good. Since you killed my beloved general, prepare to be buried with him." After Sun Wukong killed Ginyu, he landed from the air and returned to everyone. He just heard Frieza's words and said, "Little dwarf, stop talking nonsense." Upon hearing this, Frieza directly sent a ray of light, and Sun Wukong flew away with a slap. Frieza saw this and said, "Oh ho ho, it seems that you all have some abilities. I really can't defeat you in my first form, so I'll let you open your eyes today and see my other forms." After saying that, he hung his hands on his waist and shouted, "Ah!" And then he saw Frieza's breath increase sharply, the armor on his body shattered, and his body slowly grew bigger. A moment later, a man was 3 meters tall, holding a pair of huge horns. Frieza appeared in front of everyone. Frieza finished transforming and said to everyone, "Oh ho ho, you should feel honored to be able to see my first form before you die. I forgot to tell you, this king has 3 forms in total. The first form, our combat strength is only 1.2 million, but it is more than enough to deal with you." When everyone heard this, they were just a little surprised and acted as if nothing had happened. Now it was the king's turn to be surprised and said, "Aren't you scared? Or have you been frightened by my strength?" Son Goku ignored Frieza and said to Piccolo, "Go and reach out to Frieza, otherwise he will have no chance as soon as I take action." Piccolo said, "Okay, Mr. Sun, I also want to see how much the Emperor of the Universe weighs." Frieza laughed when he heard this and said, "Oh ho ho, since you want to die first, Namek, then I will make it happen for you." Piccolo sneered, "Then let's wait and see." After saying that, he flew into the air, with Frieza following closely behind him. When Son Goku saw both of them flying into the air, he said to Raditz and Nappa, "You two go and take care of the remaining 2 members of the Genuit team." Raditz and Nappa smiled at each other after hearing this, and said to Son Goku, "Okay, Kakarot, they will be left to us." After saying that, he flew to Bart and Gouda with ill intentions. Seeing that only Raditz and Nappa arrived, the 2 of them breathed a sigh of relief. Yu mocked, "Why did they send you 2 useless people to deliver food to us?" Nappa said, 3 months to the east of the river and 3 months to the west of the river. Don't despise the poor in your prime. I am no longer the same person as I was a few months ago. You are just trash in my eyes. I am here to send you on your way under the orders of Kakarot." Bart laughed when he heard this and said, "Nappa, are you trying to laugh me to death? With your little fighting power, you still want to kill me and Gyudu. What are you talking about? 3 months to the east of Hedong and 3 months to the west of Hexi. I just give you 3 months. In 10 years, garbage is still garbage, and it is impossible to turn around." Nappa sneered and said, "Oh, really? Then take a closer look at my current combat effectiveness." After saying that, he let out the breath from his body. Bart looked at it and saw that the combat power of 45,000 was displayed on the detector, and he suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. He opened his mouth and said, "Nappa, that's right. I haven't seen him for a few months. His combat power has improved a lot. He can be much better than me." "Oh, really? Then take a closer look at the detector," Nappa said. Then he activated the Kaioken twice, and the aura on his body suddenly turned red. When Bart looked at the detector again, he was suddenly frightened to the point of being scared out of his wits. He saw a value of 90,000 displayed on the detector. Bart shouted, "Impossible, absolutely impossible, the detector must be broken." Nappa said, "Nothing is impossible. If you follow Kakarot, everything is possible." Raditz said, "Nappa, stop talking nonsense to them and kill them quickly. I'm waiting to see the battle between Piccolo and Frieza." Nappa said, "Okay Raditz, leave Bart to me." Raditz nodded, and without saying a word, he sent Gouda directly to the underworld with an energy bomb. Seeing this, Nappa also released an energy bomb. Bart quickly blocked it, and after holding on for a moment, he was blasted to pieces by the energy bomb. After dealing with the 2 of them, Nappa and Raditz returned to the crowd and looked up at the battle between Piccolo and Frieza. Piccolo and Frieza rose into the air. Frieza said to Piccolo, Oh ho ho, Namek man, I admire your courage. You are the first person who dares to face me directly. I will give you a chance to surrender to me. And give me the wishing beads, and this king will let you and your people go. Piccolo heard this and said, Frieza, I will also give you a chance to leave Namek with your tail between your legs. I will spare your life, otherwise. Frieza's face suddenly turned cold when he heard this, and he said, since you are stubborn, you can't blame me. I will defeat you later, and then bring your people in front of you and kill them one by one. Death, let you feel the despair, oh ho ho. Piccolo heard this and said, Frieza, you are looking for death. After that, he dodged and punched Frieza into a shrimp, then he drew the bow left and right on Frieza's head, and slapped Frieza on the face like a cattail fan. Frieza didn't have time to react. After being slapped dozens of times by Piccolo, Frieza finally reacted. Then he exploded and escaped from Piccolo's clutches. Feeling the heat on his face, Frieza suddenly became furious and said angrily, Namek, I can't spare you. Then he ducked in front of Piccolo and punched Piccolo's afterimage. Before he could react, Piccolo punched him in the head and his body hit the ground. Piccolo dodged and came below Frieza, hit Frieza's chin with a Shoryuken punch, then kicked Frieza into the air, dodged and got behind Frieza, and kicked Frieza to the ground. He repeatedly attacked Frieza, treating him like a ball and kicking it around. Frieza was unable to fight back at all. In an instant, he was beaten with bruises and bruises all over his body. Piccolo kicked the ball for a while, then dodged, grabbed Frieza's horns, broke them off, kicked him into the air, and then hit Frieza with a magic flash. Vegeta was dumbfounded and said, is this the same Frieza I know? So vulnerable. Son Goku said, where are we now? Frieza still has two transformations that are useless, and Piccolo has not shown his true strength. Vegeta nodded when he heard this. He knew that Piccolo had a combat power of more than 3 million, while Frieza's first form only had 1 million. In such a comparison, he could not beat Piccolo. When the smoke dissipated, they saw that Frieza's body had shrunk back to its original size, with 2 horns on his head broken off, a section of his tail missing, and his face was ashen. Piccolo smiled when he saw this and said, Frieza, you really resisted the beating. I think you might as well change your name to the Sandbag King. Frieza was about to explode when he heard this, and said to Piccolo, Namek, you have succeeded in irritating me. I have decided that not only will I kill you and your tribe, but I will also blow up Namek into pieces. Dust. Piccolo heard this and said, stop talking big words and show your true skills quickly. Frieza said, okay, Namek, just wait. I hope you won't regret it later. After that, the second phase of transformation began. I saw a violent aura surrounding his body, his mouth became longer, his head quickly elongated, bone spurs protruded on both sides, his shoulders broadened, and his muscles bulged. After a moment, an alien form of Frieza appeared in front of Piccolo. Piccolo saw this and said, Frieza, you look really ugly. As soon as he finished speaking, Frieza punched him and his head tilted backwards, but Piccolo did not move at all. Piccolo reached out and grabbed Frieza's wrist, moved Frieza's fist away from his face, and said with a smile, Frieza, is this all you can do in your third form? Seeing this, Frieza shouted, impossible, my combat power in this form has reached more than 2 million, how can you still catch my fist? Piccolo mocked, is it possible that you are too weak in this form, or that I am too strong? Frieza dodged, distanced himself from Piccolo, and said, it seems that I really can't defeat you unless I show my true skills. I'll just let you open your eyes and feel the power of my final form. After that, the third phase of transformation began. Everyone felt that the aura on Frieza's body increased exponentially, the surrounding wind was strong, smoke and dust were everywhere, lightning and thunder thundered, and the entire Namek vibrated. Then Frieza's body also changed. Her head quickly became smaller, her stature began to become shorter, and her muscles began to shrink. After a while, Frieza turned into a short man only 1.5 meters tall. The top of his head, forearms, abdomen, and calves were blue, and the rest of his body was white. A pair of inverted triangular eyes and scarlet pupils all reflect Frieza's cruelty. Frieza said, oh ho ho, I kept you waiting for a long time. Namek, I haven't transformed into the ultimate form for a long time, and I am a little rusty. So, Namek, come and warm up with me. After that, he stretched out a finger and pointed it at Piccolo. Before Piccolo could reply, countless death rays emitted from his fingertips and shot towards Piccolo. Piccolo immediately stretched out his hand to block and swatted away the death rays one by one. A moment later, numerous deep craters were blasted out around Piccolo. When the smoke and dust dispersed, Frieza saw that Piccolo was intact, so he said, "Oh ho ho, Namek, you are not bad, I see you are a talent, I will give you one last chance, surrender to me, the entire Frieza army, you are only with me, how about if we are alone, I can forget about the past things." Piccolo said, "Frieza, I have to say that your conditions are very good, but unfortunately I will not agree. The education I have received for many years does not allow me to agree." Frieza said, "Then there is no need to discuss it. What a pity, then prepare to die." Piccolo said, "If you want to kill me, then you have to see how much you weigh." Frieza stretched out 3 fingers and said, "I only need to use 3% of my strength to kill you." Piccolo heard this and said, "Stop bluffing." Frieza smiled and said, "It seems that you haven't recognized the facts clearly yet, so let me help you recognize them clearly." After saying that, he ducked in front of Piccolo and punched Piccolo in the abdomen. Piccolo reached out and grabbed Frieza's wrist, then flicked Frieza hard into the air. Piccolo aimed his hands at Frieza, and the energy bombs poured out at Frieza, and the entire sky was blown into white. After Piccolo blasted for a long time, he stopped and stared at the sky. The smoke cleared and Frieza was seen intact. Piccolo was not surprised when he saw this. If Frieza was so easy to kill, he wouldn't be called the Emperor of the Universe. Frieza said to Piccolo, "Oh ho ho, Namek, I underestimated your strength. Next I will use 6% of my strength. I don't know if you can borrow it." Piccolo snorted coldly and said, "Come on now." Okay. Someone arrived before he could say anything. Frieza punched Piccolo in the abdomen, and Piccolo spat a mouthful of blood onto Frieza's face. "What a dirty blood," Frieza laughed. Piccolo held his stomach and took a while to recover. Seeing this, Frieza said, "Oh ho ho, that's good. Namek, he recovered so quickly after being hit by me." Piccolo said, "Frieza, since you have shown some strength, it's time for me to show some strength as well." Frieza laughed when he heard this and said, "Oh ho ho, your joke is not funny at all." Really. As soon as he finished speaking, Piccolo punched Frieza in the stomach in an instant, causing Frieza to drool. Then he followed up with a set of big-mouthed combos, firing his bow left and right. By the time Frieza reacted, she had already been slapped by a dozen big mouths. Frieza suddenly became furious, raised his aura, and suddenly got rid of Piccolo's control. He rubbed his face, and then said to Piccolo fiercely, "Namek, I originally planned to play with you more, but who knew that you made me angry again and again, so I decided not to play with you anymore. Then I am going to use 10% of my strength to destroy you in one fell swoop." Piccolo heard this and sneered, "Frieza, does your face still hurt? You have to let me hit you in the face every time. Are you a bitch? You are looking for death." Before he finished speaking, Frieza was already in front of Piccolo and punched Piccolo in the abdomen. When Piccolo heard that Frieza planned to use 10% of his strength, he activated the 5 times Kaioken. The moment Frieza rushed in front of him, he reacted and punched Frieza in the head. Piccolo received a punch and vomited blood. Frieza received a punch and was knocked away, both of them were injured. Frieza flew halfway, stabilized his body, dodged and attacked Piccolo again. Piccolo did not show any weakness and rushed towards Frieza. The two started a fierce fight, punching and kicking each other, and they started a hand-to-hand fight. The two fought from the ground to the sky, and from the sky to the water. No one could see their movements clearly, except Son Goku, who could see them clearly. In the situation, Piccolo temporarily had the upper hand. Using Piccolo's 5 times Kaioken, the combat power has reached 17 million, while Frieza used 10% of the combat power, and only had 12 million combat power. At this time, Piccolo was being beaten. Piccolo was talking loudly, digging into the heart of the Black Tiger, and kicking the ball, leaving Frieza unable to fight back. Frieza saw that 10% of his fighting power was defeated by Piccolo, so he used 20% of his fighting power. Then he ducked behind Piccolo and hit Piccolo on the head with a hammer. Piccolo was stunned on the spot and fell from the air. How could Frieza give up such an opportunity? He also started kicking the ball, which made Piccolo scream in agony. Piccolo reacted and instantly exploded with energy, boosting Kaioken to 7 times, and his combat power reached 33.8 million. Frieza was quite shocked when he saw this. He thought Piccolo had reached his limit, but he didn't expect that Piccolo could actually improve his combat effectiveness. Piccolo didn't care what Frieza thought. He took advantage of this moment to breathe a sigh of relief. He was not as thick-skinned as Frieza. Piccolo thinks Frieza should really be renamed the Sandbag King, because he is too tough to beat. Frieza said to Piccolo, "Oh ho ho, Namek, you are really good. I have used 20% of my fighting power, but I still can't kill you. In order to show my respect for you, next I will with half of your fighting strength. I don't believe you can still stop me." When Piccolo heard this, his expression was solemn. According to Frieza, his combat power will reach 60 million next, and if he uses Kaioken 10 times, his combat power will reach 34 million at most, so he will definitely be beaten. To fight it, I'm afraid I would have to use Kaioken 20 times, and I don't know if I can withstand it. Maid, let's fight. Anyway, Sun Jun will take the lead. If we really can't beat him, let Sun Jun take over, Piccolo said secretly. Then he gritted his teeth and started to use Kaioken. The whole body was filled with red aura, and Piccolo's combat effectiveness skyrocketed. 10 times Kaioken, 11 times, 12 times, 13 times, 19 times, 20 times Kaioken, Piccolo insisted through gritted teeth. After turning on Kaioken 20 times, Piccolo's muscles all over were sore and he felt bursts of tearing. Piccolo knew that the fight could not last long, so he struck preemptively. While Frieza was still surprised at Piccolo's huge improvement in strength, he punched Frieza in the head. Frieza's pupils contracted immediately after being beaten, and he vomited blood. Piccolo didn't care about this. Taking advantage of your illness to kill you, he grabbed Frieza's wrist and used a windmill to throw Frieza high into the sky. Then he aimed his hands at Frieza, and energy bombs poured out, performing the Prince's fighting technique. After firing more than a dozen energy bombs, he crossed his palms and put them on his forehead, shouted, "Magic Flash," and unleashed an extremely powerful energy wave. He immediately turned to Frieza. At the critical moment, Frieza instantly increased his strength to 60%, and then sent out energy waves from his hands, which collided with Piccolo's Magic Flash, and the light waves pressed against Piccolo. Piccolo was shocked when he saw this. Seeing that the energy wave was about to be bounced back, Piccolo didn't care whether his body could hold on or not, and shouted, "Kaioken 25 times, open it for me." The energy wave emitted from his hand suddenly became thicker and bounced back with lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Frieza. Frieza was shocked and said, "Impossible," and then the energy wave overwhelmed Frieza. Upon seeing this, Piccolo immediately released the Kaioken, and then felt severe pain all over his body, and the feeling of muscle tearing was extremely strong. Upon seeing this, Son Goku immediately came to Piccolo and handed Piccolo a fairy bean. Piccolo swallowed it without saying a word, and all injuries on his body recovered in an instant. Son Goku said to Piccolo, "Piccolo, Frieza will be left to me next." Piccolo said, "Is Frieza still alive after being hit by my magic flash? This is too resistant to beating." Son Goku said, "Frieza is far more tenacious than you think. He will definitely show 100% strength next time. You are no match, so the next battle with Frieza is left to me." "Okay, Mr. Sun, you have to be careful," Piccolo said. Son Goku said, "It doesn't matter, he can't find the palm of my hand even if I measure it." Piccolo nodded and returned to the group. Son Goku looked up at the sky, waiting for Frieza to appear. Above Namek, Frieza forcibly increased his strength to 70% at the last moment, and then survived the energy bomb, at the cost of losing a section of his tail. How can it be repaired? Namek people, unforgivable. Let's turn into dust together with Namek, Frieza said angrily. Then he stretched out his finger, and a planet-destroying bomb appeared on his fingertip. It expanded rapidly. In a moment, the diameter of the energy bomb increased to a kilometer. Seeing that it was almost done, Frieza curled his finger and hit Namek with the planet-destroying bomb. The clouds in Namek quickly began to boil, and the entire Namek was filled with strong winds and huge waves, as if it was the end of the world. Everyone looked up and saw an energy ball the size of an asteroid falling quickly and hitting Namek. When Son Goku saw this, he knew it was Frieza's work without even thinking. Immediately cast 10 times Kaioken, rushed under the energy ball, and kicked the planet-destroying bomb. The planet-destroying bomb was kicked out by Son Goku like a ball and returned along the original path. Frieza was about to enjoy a grand fireworks display when he saw the planet-destroying bomb returning the same way it came, and he immediately dodged to the side. The energy ball rubbed Frieza, flew into the outer space of Namek, and exploded after a long time. Upon seeing this, Frieza knew that someone had pushed the planet-destroying bomb back, so he landed downwards, intending to kill all the people below and then destroy Namek. After a while, Frieza saw Son Goku. Then he said to Son Goku, "Oh ho ho, was it you who knocked my planet-destroying bomb away just now?" "Yes Frieza, it's me," Son Goku said. Frieza said, "What is your name?" "Oh, by the way, your name is Kakarot. You are what Vegeta calls Super Saiyan, right?" Son Goku smiled and said, "Yes, I am Super Saiyan Kakarot." "Oh ho ho, this joke is not funny at all, Kakarot," Frieza said. Son Goku said, "I'm not kidding, Frieza, do you want to meet Super Saiyan?" Frieza heard this and said, "Oh, are you really a Super Saiyan? Come on, let me see what a Super Saiyan looks like." "Okay, I will grant your wish and let you die with no regrets, Frieza." After saying that, without waiting for Frieza to answer, he shouted, "Ah!" Suddenly, the wind around Son Goku was so strong that Frieza couldn't open his eyes. There was lightning and thunder in the sky, and the entire Namek began to vibrate. Looking at Son Goku again, his whole body was wrapped in golden aura, his hair began to change from black to gold, his pupils shrank, and then turned green. Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa in the distance were very happy when they saw this, and others were also shocked. After a while, Son Goku transformed into Super Saiyan, and then said to Frieza, "I kept you waiting, Frieza, I look like Super Saiyan now. I don't know how many moves you, as the Emperor of the Universe, can take on from me." Frieza saw Son Goku's appearance and murmured, "The blonde warrior, Super Saiyan, yes, this is the Super Saiyan mentioned by the ancestors." Son Goku saw this and said, "Frieza, you won't be frightened, right?" Frieza came back to his senses and said, "So what if you are Super Saiyan? I am the Universe Emperor Frieza, I will be afraid of you." Son Goku said, "That's good, I thought you were so scared that you lost your fighting spirit." Frieza said, "Oh ho ho, I have to say, your Super Saiyan appearance is quite good. I don't know if it's useful or not." Son Goku smiled and said, "You'll know if you try it." Frieza said, "Okay." Before he finished speaking, he punched Son Goku in the face, and then he smiled and said, "Isn't this so-called Super Saiyan no different?" Son Goku said, "Oh, really?" Seeing that Son Goku was okay, Frieza jumped up and kicked Son Goku in the neck. Son Goku smiled and said, "The accuracy is not bad, but the strength is a bit weak. You can use more force, I'm okay. How can you repair it? If you dare to look down on me, I will kill you." After saying that, he stretched out his hands and fired the death rays with 10 fingers, hitting Son Goku. Suddenly, smoke and dust filled the area around Son Goku, and rumbling explosions continued. After fighting for a long time, Frieza stopped and said with a smile, "Oh ho ho, Super Saiyan is nothing more than that. He is not going to die in the hands of my Universe Emperor, Frieza." "Oh, really?" Son Goku's voice came from the smoke. Frieza waved his hand and the smoke dispersed, revealing that Son Goku was unharmed. "It seems that Super Saiyan still has something. He can withstand my death ray without any damage, but that's it. Next, I will use 100% of my strength to eliminate you and your friends and Namek people," Frieza said. Son Goku said, "Okay, I'll wait." When Frieza saw Son Goku's calm look, he was furious. "Wild monkey, I hope you can maintain this attitude for a while." Son Goku said, "I always have this attitude." When Frieza saw this, he didn't talk nonsense and began to release his strength. 71%, 72%, 73%. Frieza murmured. As his strength increased, veins on Frieza's head popped out, his muscles swelled, his pupils shrank, his aura increased sharply, and there was strong wind and lightning and thunder around him. Feeling the violent aura emanating from Frieza, Piccolo said, Frieza is truly worthy of being the emperor of the universe. His strength is really terrifying. In the previous battle with me, he only showed half of his strength. Fortunately, Sun Jun is here, otherwise it would be difficult for us. Escape to death. Sun Wujun and Sun Wuming were worried. Uncle Piccolo, can my father beat Frieza? Piccolo said. Don't worry, didn't your father say before that his basic combat power is 30 million, and when he transforms into Super Saiyan, his combat power can be increased 50 times, which means that his current combat power is 1.5 billion, and Frieza's combat power is at most 120 million, which is far from your father's opponent. Oh, that's it, we forgot about this, Sun Wujun said. Krillin said. You are confused because you are concerned. Goku's combat power is far superior to Frieza, there is nothing to worry about. Raditz said. The little bald man is right. Even if Kakarot doesn't transform into Super Saiyan, he can defeat Frieza. Don't forget that Kakarot can also Kaioken. Piccolo can use Kaioken 20 times. Kakarot can definitely by displaying a higher multiplier of Kaioken. With the blessing of Kaioken, the combat power far exceeds that of Frieza. Everyone nodded after hearing this, indicating that Raditz was right. 97, 98, 99, 100, Frieza shouted. Finally Frieza unleashed his 100% strength, and then said to Son Goku, "Oh ho ho, I kept you waiting for so long, Super Saiyan Kakarot, you should feel honored to die under my 100% strength, Kakarot." Son Goku stretched out a finger to Frieza and said, "I only need to use 1/10 of my strength, Frieza, you will turn into dust in the universe." "Oh ho ho, right. Then let me see how you turned me into dust in the universe, Saiyan monkey," Frieza said. Okay, before he finished speaking, Son Goku punched Frieza hard in the abdomen. Frieza screamed, spit out a mouthful of old blood, quickly dodged back, distanced himself, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said angrily, "Saiyan monkey, unexpectedly attacked me, my king's interest has been lost to you. This group of rubbish is exhausted. Next, I will kill you, this hateful wild monkey, in one breath." Frieza, it seems your face still doesn't hurt, so let me help you get familiar with the feeling of being slapped in the face. After saying that, he ducked in front of Frieza. Frieza kicked him out and shouted, "Saiyan monkey, you want to repeat your old tricks and attack me secretly. Do you think I am a vegetarian?" However, as soon as he finished speaking, Frieza found that the Kakarot in front of him had disappeared and was actually an afterimage. Just as he was about to make a move, he was hit in the back of the head with a heavy punch by Son Goku behind him. Son Goku dodged and arrived in front of Frieza again, then stretched out his big hand like a cattail fan, opened his bow from left to right, and slapped Frieza on the face. Frieza was whipped so hard that her head shook like a rattle. Son Goku whipped him dozens of times before he ducked and distanced himself. Only then did Frieza react from the blow, and he was furious, "Saiyan monkey, you go to hell." "Ah, da 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 da," Frieza roared, firing countless energy bombs at Son Goku with both hands. Son Goku was soon enveloped in smoke, and Frieza threw energy bombs for nearly a minute before stopping. He laughed and said, "Oh ho ho, you wild monkey, you must die now. Frieza gave you a chance, but you didn't use it. Are you tickling me?" Son Goku's voice came from the smoke. "How can it be repaired? How come nothing happens to you?" Frieza said in disbelief. When the smoke dissipated, Son Goku smiled and said, "Frieza, this is called the law of smoke without harm." Frieza gradually felt a little troublesome. Remembering the legend about Super Saiyan in his family, and coupled with his previous attacks, he finally realized that the Super Saiyan in front of him was not as powerful as himself. When Son Goku saw that Frieza was silent, he asked, "How come Frieza, the majestic emperor of the universe, is also scared?" Frieza was furious when he heard this and said, "Wild monkeys, you are so complacent there. How can I, the king, be afraid of a group of wild monkeys? Go to hell." Then he dodged and rushed in front of Son Goku, hitting Son Goku with a heavy punch. All that was hit was an afterimage. Frieza immediately launched a roundhouse kick behind him, hitting Son Goku's afterimage again. In this way, Frieza and the afterimage of Son Goku started fighting. In fact, Frieza can no longer keep up with Son Goku's speed. Every time Frieza attacks, Son Goku can quickly dodge, leaving an afterimage in place because he is too fast. The two fought for a long time, and Frieza didn't even touch the corner of Son Goku's clothes. Frieza knew that Son Goku was playing a trick on him, and he was immediately angry, so he enveloped himself with his whole body's aura, and used his special move, Nova Crash, to crash into Namek. When Son Goku saw this, of course he knew what Frieza was planning. Frieza wants to destroy Namek by hitting Namek, thereby annihilating everyone, because in his opinion, only he can survive in the universe, but he doesn't know that Son Goku can too. However, it was impossible for Son Goku to let Frieza destroy Namek. After fighting for so long, it's time to send Frieza to enjoy heaven, Son Goku said to himself. Then he clasped his hands together, hung them on his waist, and shouted, "Turtle Pai Chi Gong." An extremely thick energy wave was quickly pushed out of Son Goku's hand and quickly hit Frieza. "Nani, how can we repair it? No, my majestic universe Emperor Frieza will actually die in the hands of wild monkeys. I am not willing to accept it." With Frieza's scream, Frieza was blasted into slag and scattered in the wind. Seeing this, Son Goku released his Super Saiyan transformation and returned to everyone. Piccolo said, "Son Jun, your strength is truly unfathomable. Even such a powerful opponent as Frieza was easily eliminated by you." Son Goku smiled and said, "Frieza's strength is only average. There are many people in the universe who are stronger than Frieza, so you all have to work hard to practice." Raditz said, "Kakarot, are you kidding? Frieza is so powerful. Is there anyone stronger than him in the universe?" Son Goku said, "Haven't you heard that Frieza belongs to a clan of frozen demons? Since it is a clan, he must have clansmen. Having clansmen means that there must be someone stronger than him in the clan, not to mention how big the universe is. Although Frieza is known as the Emperor of the universe, in fact, he only rules the king and hegemony in this corner of the northern galaxy, so don't sit back and watch the sky, and practice hard." Everyone nodded after hearing this. Son Goku continued to everyone, "The Frieza Legion has been eliminated. Let's go and say goodbye to the Great Elder before returning to Earth." Everyone nodded in agreement, so Son Goku used instant transmission and brought everyone to the Great Elder in an instant. The Great Elder opened his eyes and said to Son Goku, "Goku, have you eliminated the intruders?" Son Goku said, "Yes, Great Elder, but we went a little late. Many of your people were killed by the invaders." The Great Elder sighed, "This is their fate, you don't have to blame yourself." Son Goku said, "Don't worry, Great Elder, we can summon the 7 Dragon Balls to revive them." The Great Elder said, "Palunga can only resurrect one person at a time, and if Dragon Ball is used too much, it will cause irreversible consequences." Son Goku knew that the evil consequences mentioned by the Great Elder were evil dragons, but he didn't care. When the evil dragon appeared, he didn't know whether he had reached level 5, level 6, or level 7. It was just an evil dragon, and he couldn't defeat it at all. "What kind of waves are there?" Son Goku said, "Great Elder, our Shenron on Earth can resurrect many people at one time. When we return to Earth, we will summon Shenron to resurrect your people." Hearing this, the Great Elder said, "Thank you very much. To express my gratitude, Goku, if you have any wishes, you can make them come true with the help of Palunga." Son Goku lowered his head and pondered for a moment and said, "Great Elder, I don't have any wishes for the time being." The Great Elder said, "Okay, when you want to make a wish, come to Namek, we are always welcome." "Okay, Great Elder, let's take our leave then," Son Goku said. The Great Elder nodded, so Son Goku used instant transmission to lead everyone back to Earth. After Son Goku led everyone back to Earth, he asked Bulma to pass the Dragon Ball radar, and then began to collect Dragon Balls. It only took half a day to collect 7 Dragon Balls. Then Shenron is summoned, and Piccolo makes a wish to Shenron to resurrect the slain Namek people. Shenron's eyes flashed red. Namek, the killed Namek people were resurrected one after another, all of them looking confused. After the Great Elder felt that the clan members were resurrected, he died suddenly. When the Namek people learned about the death of the Great Elder, they were all grieved. The people of the Earth have begun their unpretentious and boring cultivation life again. Half a year later, Piccolo finally fully adapted to 100 times gravity, and his combat power reached 5 million. Son Goku, wearing a 300-fold weight-bearing suit, also successfully adapted to 300-fold gravity, increased his combat power to 90 million, and could display 300-fold Kaioken. During this period, Vegeta came from behind. In just half a year, he adapted to 100 times gravity and reached a combat power of 500,000. Raditz and Nappa have also fully adapted to 100 times gravity, and their combat power has reached 300,000. Sun Wujun and Sun Wuming are indeed young geniuses. After adapting to 100 times gravity, their combat power reached 1.5 million. Krillin has adapted to 80 times gravity and has a combat strength of 90,000. Tien Shinhan has adapted to 80 times gravity and has a combat strength of 100,000. Yamcha could barely adapt to 50 times gravity, and her combat power reached 50,000. Dumpling has also adapted to 50 times gravity, and its combat power has reached 40,000. After Piccolo, Vegeta, Raditz, Nappa, Sun Wuzhen, and Sun Wuming adapted to 100 times gravity, Son Goku gave up the 300 times gravity room to the 6 of them. Then I started training towards Super Saiyan 2. Son Goku was practicing that day and received a message from King Kai. "Goku, are you there?" King Kai asked. Son Goku said, "Yes, Kaio-sama, what's the matter?" King Kai heard this and said, "Great, Goku, now Namek is being invaded by an evil Namek named Slug. You should go to Namek quickly and save the Namek people." Son Goku heard this and said, "Okay, Kaio-sama, I'll call Piccolo and I'll be there right away." King Kai said, "Okay Goku." Then Son Goku entered the gravity chamber and called Piccolo out. After talking about the matter, Piccolo got ready, so Son Goku brought Piccolo an instant transmission and arrived in front of Slug. Slug was interrogating the Namek people about the whereabouts of Dragon Ball, and was startled by the 2 men who suddenly appeared in front of him. Piccolo looked at Slag and said, "Are you Slag?" Shilage laughed when he heard this and said, "You are also from Namek. Since you know my name, how dare you attack me?" Piccolo said, "Seeing as you are also a Namek, why did you kill your own people?" Slag laughed, "I just want the wishing beads to restore my youth, but these rubbish refuse to tell me the whereabouts of the wishing beads, so there is no need for them to exist." "Bah, you evil tribesmen, never expect to get the wishing bead," a Namek said. Slug's face darkened, his eyes released 2 laser beams, and he was instantly in front of the Namek who spoke. Piccolo ducked and blocked the 2 rays of light. Seeing this, Shilage was astonished and said, "I didn't expect Namek. Besides me, there is someone else who has practiced to such an extent that you are qualified to die in my hands. What is your name?" Piccolo said, "My name is Piccolo. Besides, with your little strength, you still want to kill me. You really don't know how high the sky is." Hearing this, Shilage was furious and said, "You are so arrogant. You dare to shout with me. I have decided that your life will be worse than death soon." Piccolo mocked, "Do you only know harsh words? I beeped for a long time, but you didn't do anything." Slag said, "Since you are in a hurry to be reincarnated, I will give you a ride." Then he turned to his 3 subordinates, Metamaki, Angela, and Drotobo, "I will leave the Namek subordinates to you 3. The 3 of them said in unison, "Yes, Your Majesty." Piccolo covered his mouth, trying not to laugh out loud. Son Goku also couldn't help laughing. Slag said, "What are you laughing at?" Piccolo said, "I remembered something happy." Slag looked at Son Goku again and said, "Smelly monkey, what are you laughing at?" Son Goku smiled and said, "My wife will give birth to a baby tomorrow." Hearing this, Shilage smiled cruelly and said, "Then your wife will become a widow tomorrow, how can you still laugh?" Son Goku heard this and said, "I won't argue with the dead." Slag laughed when he heard this. "Saiyan monkey, are you kidding me? Are you just a piece of trash?" Son Goku ignored Slag and said to Piccolo, "Piccolo, I will give you 5 minutes, and I will take action after 5 minutes." Piccolo said, "Son Jun, don't worry, I will be able to deal with him in less than 5 minutes." Son Goku said, "As long as he is seriously injured, he will be of great use to you." When Piccolo heard this, his eyes lit up and he said excitedly, "Son Jun, you mean assimilation?" Son Goku nodded. Piccolo was immediately full of energy. He ducked in front of Slag and struck out with a rising dragon punch. Before Slag could react, Piccolo flew away. Then the 2 began to fight fiercely. Slag's 3 men saw Piccolo and Slag fighting. Then he set his sights on Son Goku. Son Goku didn't bother to pay attention to these garbage, and used his telekinesis to condense 3 air swords, which instantly stabbed 3 people. Then the air swords exploded, blowing the 3 people into slag. The 3 of them died before they left the army. Before they could take action, they were killed by Son Goku. After Son Goku killed 3 people, he looked up at the battle between Piccolo and Slug. Through the perception of breath, Slager's combat power was about 10 million, and Piccolo used triple Kaioken at this time to suppress Slager. The reason why he didn't kill Slug instantly was because Piccolo was thinking about assimilating Slug and gaining strength. Slug was beaten with bruises all over his body, his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. When he was angry, he immediately grew huge and transformed into the so-called Super Namek. The combat effectiveness directly increased tenfold, reaching 100 million. Piccolo accidentally broke one of his arms with a kick, so he immediately distanced himself from the opponent, and then used the regeneration technique to grow a new arm. Seeing this, Slug laughed wildly and said, "Piccolo, you were so happy just now, now it's my turn." After that, he continued to attack Piccolo. Seeing this, Piccolo used Kaioken 30 times, with a combat power of up to 1.5 billion, and instantly severely injured Schlager. After a while, Piccolo carried Slag, who was seriously injured and unconscious, to Son Goku and began to assimilate him. Seeing Slag gradually turning into light and integrating into Piccolo's body, Piccolo's aura suddenly surged. By sensing Piccolo's aura, Son Goku discovered that Piccolo's basic combat power was no less than that of Frieza. In fact, Piccolo's combat power at this time has reached the combat power of Son Goku when he transformed into Super Saiyan in the original work, which is a full 1.5 billion. After assimilating Slug, Piccolo felt stronger than ever. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe my channel.